no problem. Yeah. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So this totally means that I was like I was her last number she needed for the night to like sign off.
Probably. I hated phony with a fucking passion. So I'm sure I was just like, yeah, say you're coming. I don't care. So I can be done with this shit. So that's probably accurate because that would definitely have been my attitude.
No, it was. That's what I was like.
Andres, are you getting Facebook ready?
Yes, I am.
This
is exactly what we're looking for.
Yeah.
Fuck this shit. Just say you'll come. I don't care.
You know?
We're recording now, but we are about to go live. But I was
That's
hoping
fine.
This is live?
We're about to be.
Oh, Jordan, this is your first one, huh?
I know. This is exciting.
Amanda, what are you drinking? We haven't seen your beverage yet.
Oh.
Cheers. Let's all do cheers.
Let's have a toast.
Okay.
Hold on, let's do it when we go
Jenny.
live. I don't have a. This is an opened old bottle. We're just gonna use this. I don't know what this is. I'm not gonna drink it though.
Is that what you just pose with every morning at 10 a.m.? You just keep that by your desk?
I was just out.
Dude, Andres, why are we drinking so early, man?
I wasn't. I was just trying to be funny.
Andres,
it was funny. I figured you weren't, but I was like, oh, good
I was
one.
like, no. I just got back.
Classic one-upper. I got it.
I love those. Andres, are you not drinking?
I am. Hold on.
Yeah, get a drink, man.
We are.
Good God. What kind of host are you?
This is lame. I'm leaving.
Yeah, Jordan's like, and I'm out. I was promised a party.
Nobody's
this is not
nobody's
anything of the such.
I have a full 12-pack of Truly that I'm aiming to get through.
Okay,
there you go. Good man.
We're live on Facebook now. We're live on Facebook. Make sure your labels are on because we get in trouble for some sort of sponsorship thing.
Whatever. We're all labeled. Hello and welcome to episode 27 of Ponytails Podcast. Might be 28 now at this 28. Point. We've got some repeat guests in the house. Alena Arendt from Valentine, Nebraska. Amanda Q from Omaha, Nebraska.
Sounds so funny, Q.
Made that celebrity shot with Brandon Q back on episode 3. And here we are with our first time with Jordan Ortmeier. It's our first full roommate panel episode. Of course, we've had Andres and his roommates, a couple of my roommates on here. But Alena, Amanda, and Jordan all sold together in the same HQ back in 2013, pardon me. And we're just excited to dig right in. Yeah, that was a while ago, wasn't it?
I did not realize it was that long ago.
We got some beautiful ladies in the house. It's going to be an awesome episode, reminiscing on some fun memories and making sure that we're just giving y'all the pure entertainment, just nothing but the fun stuff, plus a little bit, maybe some wisdom, maybe some this, maybe some that. I don't know. I don't know what we're gonna find out, but it's gonna be fun. That much is for certain.
I don't know either. It'll be fun.
Cheers? Are we doing a cheers?
Yeah. What is that?
Finally.
This is amplifier campfire. It's like a coffee stout or something.
Oh,
delicious. I really liked it.
Well, here's an awesome episode.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Yep, dink, right? It's time to settle into episode 20.
Buckle up.
Oh, yeah.
Buckle up. Hey, Brandon, everyone.
Proud of you for having a natty light in your hand.
Friday light, right? We're throwing it back. I'm at my co-working space and they have Thirsty Thursday and they did a double blind where they put all these beers into different brown paper bags, this right here. And in order for you to get a beer, you also have to take a shot. So I had some tequila right before opening this thing.
Are they accepting applications? What?
Yeah, where do you work at? Before we get into us, let's hear about your job.
I work at a solar company in Tempe. It's fun. But
very good.
We're at a co-working space called Industrious. So a bunch of different companies. You'll see some people walking behind me that have their offices here too. So it's awesome. It's good time.
Legit.
Yeah, it's way better than the beer fridge at the bank. It's pretty subpar. So.
Is it stacked though?
I mean, it's always got booze in it, but there's not tequila shots hanging around.
Hey,
so
that's what we love to hear. That's what we love to hear. All right,
rural Nebraska. Are you surprised?
No, I that makes sense. Let me let's get rolling with some stuff here. I was curious to see, I mean, because I know vaguely this story since we guys, we're all in force together around the same time, but how did you, because Alena, you recruited Jordan and Amanda for that
I
same
did.
summer, obviously, right? And let's start with Amanda and Jordan, whichever one of you. Let's go with Jordan or with Amanda first, I guess, because we were already kind of talking about this a little bit and about the story of how you remember getting recruited, and then maybe Jordan what you remember, and then Alena can kind of fill in some of the other stuff and talk us through what that looked like.
Fill in the blanks.
I literally remember sitting like in my business class and they were like, oh, you can make a lot of money and like live somewhere else. And I'm like, okay, sign me up for this. And so I like filled out the questionnaire, and I never answer my phone if I don't know the number. And there was like, I remember exactly where I was. I was in AKO, second floor, in the like closed study room on my computer, like studying, which anybody who knows me knows I don't really study. So that's probably why I answered the phone, because I was like,
oh, distraction
away from this school stuff. And so I answered, and that's what we were talking about before. Like Brandon and I all the time talk about it. And I was like, I cannot believe Alena like was like okay with me coming to the whatever it's the oh my god session, because I remember saying like, I'm gonna have to come late and I'm gonna have to leave early. But I remember it being later in the evening. So I was like, I swear I was probably her last person she had to get, because because thinking about it, like obviously I full-time 1 year, and thinking about like prospects, like I was not a good prospect saying like, yeah, sure, I'll come, but I'm going to be late and I'm going to leave early. So, I mean, I showed up, I was late and I left early, and Joel like walked me out, and then that was kind of like fuzzy. Joel like walked me out, and it was like there was going to be a second interview, and I was like, okay, whatever. I don't remember, but all I remember is I didn't really know what I was going to be doing for the summer. Like I got selected, and I still didn't really know anything except that like I was going to live with Alena and like books. Because, well, Alena, you would attest to this, like every day, it was never like when you interviewed me, it was like we just shot the shit the whole time.
Yeah,
like,
usually. I was such a good recruiter. I think we went and had drinks a couple times. I saw you at the bar. I didn't take you out for drinks. I saw you at the bar. That's what it was.
Which was surprising after knowing her these years. I'm like, gosh, I kind of am sad she didn't like ask me out for drinks, but I like got selected, and I remember parents, I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't do this. And my parents are like, well, I mean, you already said you're doing it. So like, you're doing it, like, you're not backing out.
Damn.
And I was like, okay, like, guess I'm doing this. And then I did see Alena at a bar with Joel, and she's like, you're not supposed to see me at a bar. And I'm like, Alena, I'm 21, you're over 21. Like, let's have a shot. And I think
I'm sure I said yes. I do remember this.
Of course you said yes.
She was
I think I said yes.
And I was like, dude, like we're all adults here. Like, why? What is the deal here? So, I mean, that's kind of
manager creed, Amanda.
What?
Student manager creed.
I said student manager creed.
What?
I'm not supposed to party with you.
What?
Or something like that.
No. Partying.
I don't remember.
There's an asterisk. There's an asterisk for Alena, aren't there?
Yeah.
So that was
asterisks.
That was
whole page of asterisks.
I was three. Well, and then it's like I got selected. Well, I was gonna go to Asia for 3 weeks. So
I forgot about that.
Yep.
Yeah. So
that's why you were late.
Sales school with the Europeans.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember sitting in the stairwell, like almost crying, being like, this is so bad. And me and one of the girls, this is so bad. I didn't like study my sales talk because I was like, oh, well, just, wing it. It'll be fine.
Because you don't study. You already said that.
And so this girl and I, Alyssa Joyce. She ended up joining Tom James. But anyways, her and I would hide. You know how there's that like at the front of sales school, there's like the ramp to get inside at the front of the building. Yeah. We would hide behind while it was all Europeans, and then there was like 10 Americans. So us Americans were all in one group. Well, her and I would behind that so that we didn't have to like practice our sales talks with everybody.
Oh my!
Like, I don't know how
Were you with Danny in that same sales school? Because he came out late because he was graduating high school. I thought he was in the same.
I don't know.
I think Amanda came like a week later than Danny.
Yeah.
Because I was the OL. I think you came a week later than Danny did.
Yeah. Because
I was in Asia for 3 weeks, and then obviously I had to like come back.
Right.
And then, so I think I was like.
I think you're the last one because there was a couple other late people in that org, and I think you were the last late person. I think Danny got there a week or two before she did.
And Alena was like, "Yeah, I didn't." I'm like, "I'm surprised again that you were like okay with me."
Well, I did the same thing. My first summer, I only sold for 7 or 8 weeks. I went to Israel for a couple weeks before.
Were you in like Ukraine or something?
Israel. I went to Israel. So I had a short summer my first summer, and I did well. So I was like, heck, it doesn't really matter as long as you freaking or work your ass off and you're coachable. So I was like, fuck, I don't care. You gotta do it. Come on, girlfriend. Sign you up.
Love it. So that's Amanda. So Jordan, what happened to you? Wait, so last question. You said, man, this is later in the year for you, later in the school year, or was it earlier?
Both of you was like March-ish, March. I recruited you guys. They were like close. Yeah, not early on.
Yeah.
Okay.
I remember this now. Alena came into my, like, it was like a geography elective class that I was in or some shit. And then I filled out a questionnaire, and my experience was like a little bit different than Amanda's. I was like front row, like, okay. And like was taking notes at the info session, like, okay, like I'm gonna fill this out, great. And like all of our interviews, like Joel also walked me out. It wasn't Alena.
I did actually work. I just want to say.
All of our like interviews though, I feel like I dressed somewhat like nice, and
I remember interviewing you in the career center and thinking like, oh my god, this girl, if I can get her to do this job, she's gonna be awesome. Because you would like show up and you're always excited, and you would like wear a blazer, and I was like, oh wow, can't believe I got her off a survey. Both of you, actually. I was like, they came off of surveys. What an amazing thing.
Yeah, I remember vividly the moment that you asked me, because I was sitting there and you're like, do you think you could do this job? And I'm like, yeah, absolutely. And you like just reached out your hand, you did the Alena art, like, I'd like to offer you a position. And I just like took it. I was like, yeah. Like
oh my god.
So excited. And then I called my parents right after, and I'm like, I got it, guys. Because
that's awesome.
I don't know if you guys knew this, but when I was I want to say an 8th or 9th grader, someone came to my house and sold my family books. I forgot who it was. We found out who it was.
We did, because I think it was Pedro Vega.
It was Pedro Vega.
It was, because when I came and did your parent visit, I drove all the way up to Mankato to meet your mom and Tom.
Yeah.
And like spent the evening because I drove so far. And I remember your mom was like, oh yeah, and like got him out and was like telling me about, he was from like Texas A&M and he was Hispanic and like I'm like, gotta be Pedro Vega. And I think I said his name and she was like, his name was Pedro. And I'm like 98% sure it was Pedro Vega that your mom bought books.
How weird is that? So my parents were all for me doing it. They were so excited about it.
My most recent text with Pedro as of 12 minutes ago. So that's
oh my god.
There you go.
So funny.
That's hilarious. So then Jordan, at what point, because Amanda was like, I'm in, were you like convinced right away at the beginning, like, hey, this is something I got to do? Or did you have to like think about it? Like, what was that like?
It was the travel part, honestly, because my family never traveled growing up. Like I never traveled at all outside of the state. And so when they were like, and you'll get to live on like probably the East Coast or something, I was like, oh my gosh, I've always wanted to go there. I'm in. And that was it for me. It was like the travel portion.
It was over. Dang. Any other details you remember, Amanda, from your end, like from your side of the story?
Well, I remember my brother.
I remember this too.
My brother was like, "You're not doing that." Okay, so Mitchell's like a protective brother, and he's 3 years older than me. And I remember my parents saying yes. And as you guys know about me, I'm like kind of a yes person. Like I'll try anything basically once. And so it was like, okay, whatever, I'm doing this. And my brother was like, "You're not doing that." And I'm like, well, like, no, I am. And he was like, "I can't believe it." And he like reamed my parents, like, "She's not doing this. This is not safe. This is this. This is this."
Holy
like,
cow.
And my parents, and so then I think my parents started to like second think it. And then when I said, "Okay, I'm not doing it," my parents were like, "No, you're doing it. You said you were going to do it." So it's like reverse psychology. I don't know. It's like a weird thing, but
I don't know if I'm making this up, but I vaguely remember, like, did I even maybe call your brother? Like I did your parent call and it went well. And then I remember like your brother freaking out. And I like kind of vaguely, I might've tried to call your brother. I like kind of remember that.
Brother.
I did try. I worked really hard at recruiting. Just because Joel pulled these two out of the infos for me doesn't mean that.
No, you did. You did your job.
Shout out to Joel.
I mean, my brother just like, it's weird because I
did. I think I called him. I'm pretty sure I did.
And like talks to everybody and is like, I mean, the most outgoing, like you guys have met, like nicest person.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it was just that like overprotective, like what, you're just going to let her like live somewhere else and like just do whatever. And the crazy thing is, you guys, the company that my brother and his wife work for now, Fusion Medical Staffing, there are a few people that work there that are like head people there that sold books. And every time my brother and his wife meet book people, they're like, Mitchell said to me, he's like, "Why didn't I sell books? Everybody that we meet books so successful." Wow. And they're like, they've talked about like their kids selling books someday. Like it's just,
that's great.
That's wild.
I mean, there's so many people in Omaha that sold books and they're just like,
yeah, there are,
blown away every time we meet somebody who sold. Like they're all, super good. Their words are all very successful. Like, yeah, I mean, wow. I don't know.
Yeah,
that's true. Powerful. My brother feels pretty strongly about Southwestern too.
I would hope so.
Well, I would think so with them.
So we have that in common for sure. For sure. So then what happened that first summer? Because you guys, for the people not listening, this is important. You guys had a killer first summer, all y'all. So, and well, Alena obviously was leading really, really well by example too. But I mean, it was my second summer when you guys were coming up, and I remember thinking like, whoa, we have a lot of really sharp kids. Like these girls, and like
it was a good org. There was a lot of kids that did well in that org. It was like you guys and
Aisha did really well, and Kyle Hertig did really well. These are all superstars.
There was like a lot of really great players on that work.
Who? Track with Tanya. Remember Track?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I forgot about him.
Yeah, like most of, I felt like a lot like hit Sizzler and did well. It was a good work.
What was your thing?
Sizzler?
Where did y'all sell exactly? Where was your HQ?
Central Mass.
Northborough, Massachusetts.
Some assholes.
Oh.
Yeah, I was just south of y'all I was in Sutton and Douglas area. My roommate sold where Matt Atchison had his first summer in Uxbridge. So. Worcester County. Woohoo!
Yeah, we lived in Northborough.
Cool.
I remember, Nick, I remember the first time that you called me. It was during deliveries and you wanted to do a pump up call. And I'm like, who the F is this guy? And you're like, we're gonna do it. And I'm just like, what? I guess.
No recollection.
Jordan.
No recollection whatsoever.
Jordan, I forgot this story. You remember the day you followed me? And it was pouring rain.
Oh my God. Yeah, I do.
It rained every day there. It was like
that was one of my rainiest summers. I had 6 summers in New England, and that was one of the rainiest.
Andres and I were going around to houses and all the tornado sirens started going off and people at the doors were like, why the F are you guys out here? Like,
there was that because we were supposed to go to the old place and the tornado went through there.
Yeah,
I forgot about that tornado. It's so wild.
Bad. And it got to the point where
they churned the butter and shit. That place.
Like no one would even open the door for us at some point.
Yeah.
So I don't even remember like how this started. Andres, do you remember this better than me?
I mean, it was just because the reason people followed me is because I just had a fun time on the book field. So like every time Yvette called me, be like, all right, so Jordan's going to follow you. You got to show her how to have fun on the book field. So I was like, okay. And it was hard because we were getting slammed. It was raining. Everything was wet. Nobody, like there was people who were home at windows who were just like shooing us away, that like completely, and extra mass hold capacity, right? And they were freaking out because they don't get tornadoes. So it was just like a weird mess. And I just stopped in the middle of this like cul-de-sac. And I'm like, you know what we're going to do? We're wet anyway. Or we were trying really hard not to get wet. And we were still kind of like dry. I'm like, you know what? Screw it. We're going to go. I'm going to put a timer on this phone for like 2 minutes. And we're just going to go outside and we're just going to freaking dance in the rain, like hopping around like, and just have a blast.
Street. We just like threw our books in the car and then we just ran around the street.
And we just were just jumping around. But it was like such a good attitude booster because after that, we actually had a pretty good afternoon. I think I sold a couple things and Jordan, I think, knocked on the door and sold something. But like it was like solid, like the attitude change. And it just kind of, I will not forget that. I forgot about that, but I will not forget that again. Yeah, it was like this idea of like, man, just fucking dance in the rain when it sucks sometimes, you know? And we weren't worried about being wet.
Yeah, it was like one of those moments where you literally are just like, everything sucks around and I'm going to control like how happy I am right now.
Yeah. All I can do is laugh and
we're just doing something fun quick.
Yeah, and it was
felt
good.
Like it was like the cool card or whatever was already out of my pocket.
Oh yes,
already dying in the rain. So like
teared up.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, and it was big brick that we were selling, and so people were like, they wouldn't let us inside, and eventually it stopped raining, and we got some sit downs out in the porches, and yeah, it was a really cool like reminder of it doesn't matter what's going on around, just stay happy and you're gonna be fine. Yeah, it was cool. I forgot about that.
So wet, literally every day.
It was.
I remember
that was such a that was the wettest summer I've.
Sorry. We're all just like wet.
Well, yeah, not for that. I wish, but
I sold for 7 summers, and that was the wettest summer. I will say that. It was fucking rained like crazy.
I just gotta interject on my own experience here because we all sold in Central Mass that same summer.
Good summer.
It was incredible. I'll never forget it, obviously, right? First summer, but like the May into June month, it was like literally like 27 of the 31 days of that month were just like wet, right?
Wasn't that? Oh, maybe I'm thinking of it.
It was like the wet where it was like raining down and up. It was like splashing back.
But it didn't warm up for a while. Wasn't that the summer it snowed? Or was that? But didn't it snow in May?
I got 2 snow times in my summers. One was my 4th summer up north in Vermont, and it got snowy.
Yeah, which like summer. I've had snow like up by Canada, but I never had snow that far south in New England. And I think it snowed that summer.
I don't recall any snow, but I do recall just like Roger Sipes' keynote speech where he talks about like, when you put on the trash bag instead of a freaking. I literally, my like first week on doors, I put on a trash bag and because I didn't have a raincoat. I just thought, oh, it's gonna be it. I don't need to worry about rain. That was my mentality going into my first summer. Even though like there's a whole like first year training of like, here's how you need to prepare for the
it rains in New England. It's not like Nebraska.
Yeah, so
like literally, I think that's how it started. Actually, I'm like 90% sure.
I remember that first week, and I knocked on a door. I had like 3 sit downs my first week, and it was terrible. And I remember knocking on a door, and they're just like, "No, not interested." And I'm just like, "Can I have a trash bag, please? It's raining out."
Oh,
right?
Nick, that's so pathetic.
And so, you know, right? And I punch holes just like Roger Sipes.
Oh, good for you, man. You're a trooper.
When I was
You're such a trooper.
When I was selling and I didn't like the people that they let me first down, I don't remember who did it. I was following someone and they're like, this is a really random thing to ask, but like, our lunches got really wet. Could we like pay for a sandwich or something like that? And I do that for so many fucking people that I hated, like the people that made me sit down for forever and then didn't buy. I'm going to hell.
Well, we all are if that's what you're going for.
God.
That's the worst thing you've done. Wow. We owed a confession.
Asking for food.
I need to tell you guys my first day, and I don't know if Alena remembers this. My first day on the book field, I followed Alena because I got there obviously like weeks late. And I get in her car and she has to breath.
Oh, fuck. I forgot about this.
And I'm like, I look over and I've never seen a breathalyzer before.
I got a DUI at Christmas that year.
That's what you said? Elena had a breathalyzer? Oh my.
Well, that was part of like, so why I was so paranoid about like drinking in front of people, because Yvette was like, not very excited about me and my interlock machine in my car for the summer. But I'm like, this is the only way they'll give me, I mean, I got a DUI, like my license was suspended. It was the only way I could do. Oh my God. I have like a lot of funny stories that I just remembered about that summer, me and my freaking interlock. Like, but you had to blow into it every 5 minutes. All day long.
All
If you
day,
can imagine.
all day.
So like, no, there would be like say you just hop out quick, like not thinking on the book field to get pre-approach. And then I'm not kidding how many times, like I would be like talking to somebody in their driveway, my car would be running and I would hear it beeping and I'd like run over, and because it was on a big cord, I'd like pull it out the window and be like, hold on.
Yes.
Wow, I'm blown away.
Yeah, because I like that was the only way I could leave that was the only way I could leave the state.
Over. This is my first day. I mean, at this point, I'm 21 because I didn't sell till after my junior year.
Oh my
I forgot about my inner.
Look over.
Wow.
Day one, and she's like, "Oh, hold on a second, gotta do this before we can go." I'm like, "Oh my God! Like, is this really what this is gonna be?" But for me, obviously, I'm the right person. I was like, "Hell, this is awesome!" You know,
everybody drinks and drive. Just some of it gets caught. So.
Oh, Dad.
And Amanda sold close to 3,000 units that first summer in like 9 weeks or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, both my roommates were like top first years and went to Sizzler, so I did something right. Maybe just, you know.
I still remember the day that you came home with like Mike's Hard. And I got drunk off of like 1.5, and I was like,
I think I finished mine and I was like shit faced, and you guys were just like crying, laughing at the table. Because I think Daryl was like, "Oh my God, girls." Daryl, that was our host dad's name, Daryl.
Alena, do you have a problem?
I've never been so happy in my life. When I saw her come in with those Mike's Hards, I've never been so happy.
That's so funny. Life. I forgot about that.
Oh
That's epic.
That's just like, these girls been working hard, and it was like the last week of July. I'm like, they've earned these.
Oh yeah.
Elena, do you remember when I ran into the back of your car going to breakfast?
And it didn't do anything? And
my Prius just like bumped off like this.
She was like looking, we were on our way to our breakfast place, and I was sitting at a stop sign, and she like wasn't, I don't know if you were looking at your pre-approach or what you're doing, like not paying attention at all, like full speed, whatever you'd be pulling up to a stop sign at like 10 or 15 miles an hour, just slams into the back of my freaking Equinox. No scratches, no dents on her Prius. It was unreal.
Yeah, she was like, "Dude, you gotta pay attention."
I know. I was like really mad when I got out, and then I saw there was no damage. I was like, "Okay, I'm not as mad, but don't do that again." Like,
epic. Oh my God.
They made me sleep. Out of the three of us, I was the one who got to sleep on the floor on a mattress.
I think you wanted to, though.
Yeah, you asked to.
There's no.
Oh, don't even kid me, because you had that fucking jar of peanut butter that you kept in the nightstand with your like Oreos or whatever. Do you remember that, Jordan? And she would like lay down there with a knife like in her fucking sleeping bed.
It'd be like dark, and you just like
I still went to Sizzler with a 6-pack. Remember?
I know. I was so jealous of you. I was like, look at this freaking chick that like I like could stand to lose 15 pounds and I eat like a rabbit every day. There's me and Jordan over there with our spinach wraps, and then there's Amanda with a jar of peanut butter and a 6-pack.
Yeah.
Remember those? Like I still eat spinach wraps like that. That is something I learned.
I have
you.
never been able to again.
Oh, really? I got some in my fridge right now. I eat them almost every day for lunch.
Apples. I ate an apple probably.
I can't do apples.
Can't eat
I
apples.
can't eat apples anymore.
You're gone.
I can't.
Out of my diet.
I think what it was is I would get graham crackers and then I would get frosting and peanut butter.
That's what it was. Yeah.
Peanut butter and in frosting.
Well,
And
I just remember you kept it on the nightstand next to your sleeping bag. And
Yeah,
you would
I
just
remember
like
one time-
lay there as you were going to bed. Like
You were like, Jordan, do you want some? And I'm just like, it looks like somebody already ate that. I'm not fucking.
I'd always be like, I already brushed my teeth, and you're like, it doesn't matter. And I'm like, yeah, it kind of does. Like, which obviously it doesn't to you. You still have a beautiful smile and you look like you don't have any cavities from that. So that's just another reason why you're really impressive, Amanda.
Amanda is a freak of nature. I think she defined like she's the person in every, if she ever did like scientific studies, she'd be the outlier in every one. Like, we don't know what the fuck that is, but this is normal.
I know Amanda, Jordan, and Alena all live together. I also lived in that house just in the next room over. And I'll say, Amanda, I've had like 55 roommates or so in my lifetime that I've lived with for more than a month. And Amanda, top 5. Way to go.
Maybe. I was kind of at the end, I was like, Nick, you're driving me up a wall.
What are you talking about? We
Driving each other up a wall, really. I mean,
I think it was Isaiah that drove me up
I
the
have a
wall.
very fond memory of of Amanda when we were rooming together. She taught me how to like be comfortable farting around boys.
what?
I like asked you this. I remember vividly. I remember this.
What?
You like farted or something, and I was like, oh my God, I've never done that around a boy. And you're like, oh no, when I was dating Tyler, like whatever.
Yeah, that's what's his name. I was trying to remember.
You were like, no, he like pressed on my stomach one time and was like, fart, like just do it. And so now I just do it all the time and guys don't really care and like all this stuff. And I'm like, really? They don't? And I'm like 18 at this point. I'm like, they don't care? Like what? Be comfortable with yourself, girl.
This is the content we were expecting for this episode.
Okay.
I was
like, if we're gonna talk about like
I'm pretty
Amanda
sure this
and
is gonna go
farts,
where
I feel like I gotta share. This was gonna be my like best or funniest story about just living with Daryl and Jenny with you two.
Go right ahead.
Let's hear it.
This is great. So I stayed like, I don't know, I remember how late I stayed, pretty late, 3 or 4 weeks. And lived with Daryl and Jenny. And anyways, Daryl's brother sold books. So Daryl and Jenny, our host family, both sold books. They're alumni. Daryl's brother also sold books. So they wanted to have like a dinner for me one night, invited everybody over. Daryl's brother came over. They got out their Superstar books. Turns out some of my aunts and uncles were in them that sold books. We had like a really fun, nice dinner. Anyways, Daryl's like, oh my gosh. He's like, I've been waiting to tell you this story all summer. Like, it's just probably the funniest thing that's ever, I don't know if I've ever told you this story. The funniest thing that's ever happened to me hosting Book Kids. And so Daryl and Jenny, like, you know, they're like had a typical colonial style, like New England home, like 2-story shutters on the front. And then kind of like a laundry room breezeway area that with the attached garage. And there was the laundry room. And then there was like a little half bath right there. And we would always go out that door in the morning in between the garage and the rest of the house. And anyways, and Daryl got up super early. Like had been like up for 2 hours by the time we got up. It's like 5:59 or whatever. Like did he get up at like 4:30 every day?
Yeah, he was always up super early. Like,
yeah, like he had already like made breakfast, done all this stuff, like whatever. He was usually like sitting in the lounge or reading the paper when we got up in the morning. Like
he always did the stock market too.
Yeah.
About his stocks.
So anyways, apparently part of Daryl's morning routine was, you know, keeping the 6 schedule going. And at some point before we would get up in the morning, he would like go into that half bath to always like take his morning poop. And apparently one day, like later than normal, he was in there pooping when we were leaving in the morning, which we didn't obviously notice. But he's like, I don't know what I ate the night before, but it smelled so bad. It was terrible. And I was afraid you girls were going to smell it. So I opened, there was a little window in the half bathroom that like was, out onto the porch that we would step out on. So he opens the window of the half bath and turns the fan on to like get the smell out. And a lot of times Amanda would leave after Jordan and I shouldn't admit to that. I was bad OL, but some days I was like, whatever, she's going to get to the breakfast place. Like, I'm going. So anyways, Amanda would like leave after us. So apparently one morning, Jordan and I had already left, and Amanda like walks outside, and she apparently like stops on the porch after she picks her bag up, and he can hear her because he's in the bathroom and the window's open. And she's just like, he's like, obviously I had to smell like my shit because I opened the window. And she's just like, oh man, it smells like home this morning. Just smells like Iowa. Trots off to her fucking car.
What?
But she was like, it took everything I had to not bust out laughing that you were just like, I mean, it probably smelled like a fucking feedlot, which would be Iowa. And so he's like, I assume she just thought it smelled like a feedlot. He's like, I've been in the Midwest once. I know what a feedlot is.
Oh my God.
For the record, that's how Iowa smells like all the time. So good job.
You apparently just like stood there on the porch and was like, it smells like home. Oh, Iowa. And then you like went and got in your car.
What?
I am not. This is. I don't know why I've never told you that. I think I kind of felt bad because I'm like, well, it was just Daryl taking his morning shit, but
Why would I have said that out loud though?
I don't know.
Self-talk.
I don't know.
Amanda, you know yourself. That's why.
You know the book field is. It does weird things to your mind. You're probably really homesick, and you're just like, feedlot, man, I miss home.
Also, why did I leave later than you guys? Like, I don't really remember.
Because I don't remember what you would do in the morning, but you kind of dinked around a little bit.
I think you were like fixing your hair, like.
And I finally just gave up because I was like, you know what? I know she's on schedule. I know she's going to go to work every day. I'm just like not going to fight this battle of getting her out by 6:29. Like, I'm like, I got more important things to do. I know she's going to come to breakfast. So I just, you would always come after us like a little bit.
Yeah.
Most days, wouldn't she? I feel like that was a thing.
Do you guys remember? Oh, go ahead, Andres.
No, I was going to say that's just a testament to Amanda because, I mean, it's actually pretty impressive what Amanda did that first summer. I mean, she came in out late and then she left early because she had to go to sorority stuff, and she still was like killer. She sold like over 3,000 units. And I remember you got off to a fast start, and I think you averaged like 500 units a week the whole summer. Like, it was pretty awesome. And the reason I remember that is because I did a lot of your like PCs. I don't know if you remember that at all, but like your very first PC was at that water park. You know, like Yvette's like, yeah, you're PCing this girl. She just came back from China. I was taking Chinese, I think it was, why she thought that would connect somehow in college. And so I was like, okay, she goes, actually, she had a pretty solid first week, 197 demos, some odd crazy number, like crazy high. And I was like, okay, what should I coach her on? She's like, I don't know, just talk to her. I'll just tell her how to be consistent. I'm like, okay, cool. And so I started talking to you, and you're just like, yeah. Like, how was your first week? It was good. So chill, like no problem. You had been working so hard, and it was very easy to tell that you were like just really jamming and just going and being a badass. And so I remember the advice I gave you was like, hey, don't let the units get to you. Don't worry about what units are, and just keep doing what you're doing. That's because, like, what the hell do I say to someone who's just killing it? Like, I don't know. Like, I'm only like 4 weeks longer than you've been around, and it's not that long. So good luck, but you killed it. So praise to you for that. Shout out to you on that for sure. Yeah.
Well, that's nice.
Even though you missed Iowa.
What is PC? What does PC stand for?
President's Club.
Oh, it was a personal conference.
Personal conference. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I thought it was President's Club.
I think it's both. I think like
I feel like that was I think
it was both.
Western not good on the acronyms. Not good.
Well, and then there's a lot of them, and they're not good.
Too many of them.
Yeah, Bwadsfa. Like, what the fuck?
No, but I
Right.
remember like the energy change when Amanda came into the house, because me and Elena had been like together for a few weeks, and then just having someone new come in, and she was just like, whatever, you know, like everything was
That's so
fine.
chill.
Yeah, well, and I felt bad too. It always just, that's the thing that like sucks about being at OL is like, you got so much going on. You can't, it's hard to give a lot to your roommates. And then like, that's why you usually have two, because then they can at least have each other, because you're like non-existent. I mean, you know, you get done with like freaking stat calls at 10:45 and you're supposed to be in bed by 11.
I was like so much younger than both of you too, so I feel like I leaned on both of you like a lot as like older sisters too, and Amanda was like a lot more available because you were on calls all the time. I don't know how the heck.
I know, I always felt so bad. And then like breakfast, that people would always be calling me, and I like, crux of the job.
So cute. Look at this.
Jordan and I just hung out and handled it. We always talked about, we would like online shop. Remember that time we were like, okay, we're buying these swimsuits for Sizzler. And
I think I remember that.
Yeah,
and
I feel like I definitely was I cool with that? I feel like I would have been like, yes, go hit Sizzler.
No, she said that she would buy me a swimsuit top if I hit Sizzler. And I went,
Same.
Okay.
yeah, because I was
and
like,
then you did. I feel like that was the kicker for you. Was that the kicker for you? I kind of remember this. I was like, whatever, you're going. We gotta find a way to get you there.
Yeah, I was so motivated to be on a beach. That was like my main motivation all summer. I was like, I just want to hit Sizzler.
remember, like at Sizzler, people were like, oh my gosh, the Nebraska girls are like so hot. Do you remember?
Yeah, duh.
Well, but remember they were like, somebody said, well, yeah, Alena, your boobs. Remember your boobs on Sizzler?
Oh yeah. Dude, everybody thought I got a boob job that year because they like finally came in. I was like 27 or whatever.
All right.
I am not kidding. I remember that. I was like, who started this rumor that I got a boob job?
I remember we did.
I don't have that much money.
I did one tequila shot off of Amanda's stomach on Sizzler, and I just up like this, like off her stomach, and there's like 7 dudes just around. I'm like,
that's how you turn them away from Jesus, right?
We had a hot org. We had a hot org though, like you two, Aisha. I mean, that's like pretty good. I don't even know if I need to name any other names. Pretty hot org. Like if there was any other girls, Courtney was in our org. There was me.
Who else was in our?
That might have been all the girls besides, you know,
Lauren.
Angela.
Angela, yeah.
Anna.
Wasn't that Lauren in our? She had like
Beth Olson.
Yeah.
Beth Olson was in our org, I think.
Oh, I think Beth was. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
pretty hot.
The only reason I even bring that up is I just remember like Brandon and I always like go back and talk about like the first time we met and like all the things. And he's like, everybody said that Sizzler, like usually it was like the Eagle Blitz girls were kind of like the girls or something. I don't know, whatever. And
Or
he's like,
in Texas and whatnot.
he's like that year, like Nebraska all of a sudden became like the guys were like, oh my gosh, look at the Nebraska girls.
Yeah.
You don't hear that every day.
Yeah.
But I digress, right?
Hey, you know what? I'm just gonna remember that as the Sizzler that everyone looked at Elena's boobs. If that's the first thing you remember, Jordan, I'm like, wow, I'm gonna feel good about that. Like
I remember Jess, Joel's wife.
Oh yeah.
I was at the bar with her, and she told me that if I did shots of the rainbow, that I would hit Mort the next summer.
I'm like, barkeep, like, line them up.
Like,
oh my
Crushing
god,
them.
That was a great Sizzler. I feel like that was one of the first ones that was mixed too, like with the Eagle Blitzers, because my ones before that were just Force and Redline, which were awesome.
I think we lost track for a solid like 2 days. He was just nowhere to be found.
Yeah, he was gone.
Like who?
He's
Who?
gone.
He reminded me of Joe.
You don't remember track, Amanda?
No.
Oh no, I didn't know who you said. I didn't hear you say track.
Yeah, he was gone for a little bit.
For like 2 days.
That's not surprising.
Taylor Scholes was also in that org. I remember now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she's a hottie. Yeah.
Yeah, she is.
I remember I was Elena's roommate on Sizzler And she, like Maggie Dietzel and I were really drunk, and Alena comes in and reams us and is like, who are you girls? You're my roommates and you gotta get up and we gotta go to the bar and how dare you be napping, and like just like yelling.
Fucking get out of bed in the morning, and I'm like, we didn't fucking work 85 hours a week.
This was at
door-to-door fucking sales to sleep in till 10:30. I'm like, there's fucking tequila sunrise at the bar. Get out of bed. I'm not going to be associated with slackers that are going to sleep in on Sizzler. Not doing it. The schedule to maintain here, girls.
I partied on the table every night and threw up on the beach. So
I was a VIP club. I opened and closed the bars every night. Every Sizzler. I still have
pictures of Amanda and I on a table at some random place.
Actually, I think I'm in that picture too.
Probably. Yeah. I can find those.
I remember
Amanda, if you find them, send them to me and I can screen share and put them up on the.
No, we're not.
I think the club took them. They were like nice pictures too. It was cowboy night. It was fucking cowboy night. I remember this. We like all had like little plaid shirts all tied up and.
Yeah.
Rough times.
That was like right after my boyfriend dumped me. So remember
that is true. I remember it was not long before that Tyler dumped you.
I remember coming to your house, Amanda. I remember coming to your house and I like came up the stairs to where you were and you just were in sweatpants, like dying. And you're like, I don't fucking know. I'm just gonna, and like a wreck and like.
Probably.
Was that the Sizzler that you showed up, Amanda, to the airport like with throw up on your sweatshirt?
Yeah, you puked in my fucking rental car.
I remember that.
Was that? I thought that was your second summer. Was that your first?
That was the first one, Alena, because you were knocking on her door.
Sizzler.
I like legitimately broke into your fucking sorority, beat the door down. I was like, what a, you know what?
Oh.
If you don't think I don't care about you, you just remember that. Because I had to like break into your sorority, beat the door down. I accosted some girl trying to like come home from the bar and was like, I can't let you in. I know who you are. And I was like, I don't fucking care. She's in there, carried you out in your formal dress. There was puke down the front of it. It was a black cutout with like mesh. I remember all this. And I like yelled at freaking Will Pickering. I was like, go get the car. We're going to be late. We're going to miss the flight. Drove like 80 miles an hour to the airport. Like you puked in a bag the whole way in the back of my rental car. And
what a way to start,
Sizzler. The airport line, like you guys.
And I was like, all right, this girl's gonna be fun this week. Like you guys get her a drink. Like, she'll be okay.
You guys came a little late, and we were sitting in the line to like check in. And I remember both of you, like Alena, just looked pissed coming up, and I was like, oh guys, I'm like so hungover. And Amanda goes, well, I just had puke running down my dress. So
she had like when she got here, she had this blue sweatshirt and like these sweatpants. Yeah. And everyone was like,
what the fuck? Puke through TSA. Cause I was like, they're gonna fucking pull us aside. Like, we can't have this. Clean it up a little bit. Here you go. Like from my prior experiences of being pulled aside at TSA. So it's not anything that I haven't done. I just look it up for you. Even though I probably remember doing that. Oh, go ahead, Andres.
No, we were just so confused. But you go ahead. We were just confused. You came in and you were just like, we were like, holy shit.
Remember, like the Boulevard, like I remember going to the KC the night before we went to that KC game, and it was me, Danny, Manny, and Amanda that rode in a car together, and Amanda bought us all 4 Locos, like driving there.
I do remember this. You guys were just fucking chained to the game.
I fell into a fence, and the security guard came up.
Oh, let me find these. I'm gonna get on my
find those pictures, because then I remember you guys were freaking shit-faced at the game.
Yeah.
Dude, okay, I was going through a really rough time in my life. I just want to put this out there, because what if I ever needed another job and this video is on the Southwest alumni?
We're all going to be a lawyer.
I was like, I think Jordan's got more to worry about than you.
Let's move on then. Let's move on to the next question we normally ask at the podcast. What are you guys up to now?
Amanda first.
Oh, well, not drinking that much.
Y'all are crazy, by the way. Very wild, very incredible, high energy. This has been a wild ride. Keep talking.
This is what I figured this episode was going to be. I was like, I hope this happens. I really hope this happens. If you find those pictures, Amanda, send them to me.
I know. I'm trying to find them. You guys all know what I'm up to. You were all at my wedding. It's pretty much the same. Just living.
I know, but we want to give you a shot to plug it, to tell the world. There's book kids listening.
Yeah.
Hey, world.
Amanda.
I left Tom James a year ago, and I work for Isogenics full time now. I'm a full-time network marketer, and I basically work by the beach or the pool most days of my life. And I'm married now to the infamous Brandon Q, who Alena told me on my first Sizzler to stay very far, far, far away from.
That was good advice.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that didn't mean you shouldn't have ended up together. I'm just saying at that point in time, had you gone together on Sizzler, would you be where you are now? Probably not.
No,
That was his brother.
What?
it's his
Also
brother,
that.
Chris Q. We all know
Got
it.
the old bull, now needs the young stag.
Yeah.
This is the saddest part. Brandon's whole family knew about me before I was with Brandon because of Chris. Brandon came back from my first Sizzler and was like, Chris made out with the hottest girl all week on Sizzler. And like when I met Brandon's sister, she was like, we got talking and she's like, yeah, Chris made out with some girl. And we were talking. She's like, oh my God, you were that girl, weren't you? And so his family knew about me before.
Oh shit.
Before like, I was with Brandon. It's like a weird thing.
Love this.
But I only made out with him, so it's fine.
So anyway,
Fine.
Isogenics. You're killing it at
Trying to talk
Isogenics.
about what we do now. Apparently the good old days are better. Just kidding.
No,
Just kidding. They're not. I'm not saying that.
Yeah, I just got back from 21 days in Tulum with my best friend, and we both work virtual. So yeah, I basically just said work on the beach or work by a pool or work at the lake.
Like your sweater, by the way. It's not a sweater, tank top. My bad.
What? This?
Jordan changed her shirt and I was choosing that she put her Huskers shirt on. But I said sweater for some reason instead of tank top.
I've literally had this the whole time.
No, you didn't.
Yes, she did.
No, are you serious? Oh
Yeah.
my God, really?
Yeah.
Alena's had too much to drink. That's enough about
No,
my.
I haven't.
Okay,
Really?
Alena,
Well,
what are
maybe.
you doing now?
I sell insurance, all kinds. I run an insurance agency in good old Valentine, Nebraska. So,
Badass.
yep,
And she's got a
Fresh.
that's right. I have a boyfriend. He's lovely.
He's lovely.
What's his name? Like first name. Just give us first name.
Judson, Judd for short.
We like Judd. I like Judd.
Oh, Judd.
Yeah.
Let's go, Judd.
And he wanted to watch this later, so just
He's a nice
Well,
guy.
Hey,
What?
Judd, you're great.
Thank you.
What'd you
Love
say, Amanda?
I said he's a nice guy. He let us party all night at the wherever we were dancing, remember?
Yeah, we had a great time. I mean,
Yeah.
he likes to have a good time. Actually, it's funny. I have like met my match in the fun department. So
Perfect.
you all can believe that.
That is the highest compliment that I think Alena is capable of.
It probably is.
It is.
Met
In
your
a good
match.
way.
Have a great time together.
And she gives really good compliments. So that's like top shelf. Like,
Never
that's the
had
nicest
a-
thing.
Yeah, I had to tell Joel. Joel asked me, and I was like, yep. Met my match. Think he might be more fun than me.
Damn.
Like pretty wild. So
Damn. Okay.
Guys, I'm just trying to find these pictures on my Facebook.
oh
wall.
my God, I'm just gonna find him. I want to look at. I
You
think
go for it.
everyone
We
needs
gotta
to see
hear
that
from-
picture of us all dancing on the table.
We got to hear from Jordan now. What do you have to
Yeah,
Jordan?
because Jordan's got. Let's be honest. Amanda and I's lives are cool, but Jordan's top shelf. top shelf.
Whatever.
She's
Jordan's
like
killing.
Patty 25 year.
She's killing.
Top shelf.
You guys are
Killing it.
Yeah.
What are you up to?
Law school. It's pretty great. Just kidding. But yeah, I am taking the bar this summer and I have a job offer from like pretty big firm in Minneapolis. So that's exciting.
Oh, you do?
Girl.
I'm so excited for you.
Let's go.
It's pretty cool. I don't
Let's
deserve it,
go.
but I am excited.
You do, and you are amazing. And Elena's right. Alena and I have fun jobs, but yours is like, not that our jobs aren't important, but yours is like
Legit.
Insurance is very
Shit.
important, Amanda.
I'm probably going to end up doing mergers and acquisitions law.
Really?
That's legit.
That's like super cool. You'd be good at that though. When you get feisty, you're pretty feisty.
you are.
You're a badass.
Yeah. I can.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to piss Jordan off. I
mean, I can just see. I can see you being like, "Yep, so we're gonna take over your company, and this is what you're gonna get for it, and this is what you're gonna sign, and
Bye.
why don't you just retire? There's some nice retirement homes up north, like
nice to all of you. So
Exactly. But I can't. I can see a mean side of you. You're like the nicest little kitty. But I can see this like if you get pissed off, and I
no,
would
I
not
just
wanna
feel
be in
like
the
you'd
same
be
room.
good at that and
Yeah.
I mean that in the best way possible, not
Correct.
anything negative whatsoever. I think you'd be
you
great
know
at it.
something funny? So
Yes.
when I was getting interviewed, I networked to like get an interview with one of the recruiters for this company or for this law firm. And like I had good grades, but like once you get good grades, you just kind of get put into a pool because like
Yeah.
there's a bunch of law schools in Minnesota.
Well, there's probably a lot of people with good grades, so
Yeah. So you do that. And then I took this guy out to lunch and he asked me about selling books. I like told him about that and he's like, "You did that? That's so freaking impressive. Like I would never let my daughter do that." And I was like, "Yeah." And I told him about it and he's like, "I'm like amazed right now." And said all this stuff. And I guarantee that's why I got
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Seriously. How weird is that?
No, I think that's good. I'm so happy. That's the whole point of doing it,
Yeah.
is to be where you're at right now. It might have taken 8 years, but who cares?
Impressive.
You're in a spot that a lot of people are envious of. That's the whole reason that you
As are you two. We're
do
all
what no one
now.
else will do to get what no one else will get. That's what we preach, and there's truth to that. So
I can't find these pictures.
I just deleted them off my Facebook, but let me see if I can find them.
oh yeah,
Could've
you
been a
probably
good
needed to clean
episode.
that up.
Yeah, I need
Hey,
to clean that up big time.
I
Hey,
think
Jordan.
I'm more in the position of like I get more recognition for my party pictures anymore than like not. So I got quite a few still.
what would you guys say? Like, and I was gonna say unless Nick had anything follow up on that.
Found it.
What? How?
Send
What?
along.
Resourceful.
Why were you making me do this when you knew
Grace
exactly?
is like, can I just like mediate this?
No. Send this to me. Send those to me. Send it to me.
No.
Send
It's
it
a
to me,
good
Amanda.
picture. No one's doing anything bad. You can't even tell we're on a table. Well,
Send
really.
it to me,
I mean, you
and I can share screen. Send it to me, and I can share it on the screen.
Okay.
Ask the question, Andres. What was your question?
No, I was gonna say, because you kind of touched on this a little bit. Sometimes we like to ask people if like what parts of Southwestern they're using now to help them be successful with what they're doing now. So I was gonna say, what do you think were the things that really
Sometimes
each of
we
you
ask
guys-
that. Today
Well,
we do as well.
Sometimes we
man.
ask that.
I mean, well, I can go first if
Sure.
somebody. Well, obviously, my husband sold books, so that's the biggest thing for me. Is I married a book guy. I would have never met him. So, yeah, but I mean,
that every day.
I mean, Nick knows he's my roommate or was my roommate. I literally so going from Southwestern to Tom James, like every single aspect of it. And then from,
Oh baby.
I know, I want to see the picture. And then from Tom James to Oh yes. Oh my.
And they're not bad. I mean, they're not bad. They're just fun. I think they're fun pictures, but I'm probably more lax than most HR people. So,
I mean,
Oh, I like the first one better than the second one.
oh, you look like having such a good time, Jordan. I love that
Look
one.
at the
I think
cow.
it's great.
Look at the cow.
I don't know why I didn't. I wish I would have looked over, but I didn't know if someone was taking
Look at
pictures
the
of us.
picture. Look at the picture in the background. The cow. Go to the other.
Yeah, smiling.
Oh
There you
my
go.
God.
You gotta appreciate. I think that's like Ryan. What's his name? There,
Ryan Davis.
in the background. Ryan Davis is hanging out right there, and I think Bristol's in the other one. To be honest,
This is Danny right here.
is that Danny? That's
Yeah,
funny.
the dumbass here.
Oh my
This
God.
Maggie
That
Dietzel's right
looks
here.
like Maggie
That
Dietzel.
one's gold.
that's
That's such a good picture. I love it.
the bottom left is Amber.
Oh, it is Latham.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a funny picture. Yeah.
Good times.
I didn't untag myself from that. I think that's a fun picture. So
Love
Good
it.
times. Holy
Yeah.
cow.
Great, guys.
You guys.
throw it on there.
You guys.
I need to
Just
go
put me
find
down as a reference, Jordan, if you need any explanations for found on your social media.
Elena actually wrote one of my letters to get into law school, and I cried when I read it. I cried.
Aww.
Oh, damn. Now we're getting
so happy.
I like
We're getting
looked
into
for it a
that.
couple months ago, and I couldn't find it. I was like, maybe.
Oh, really? I think I kept it. I'm pretty sure I have it in my Dropbox. Do you want me to send it to you?
I think you sent it to my work email, which I don't have access to. You should resend it.
I'm pretty sure I still have it. I think I kept it.
Yeah,
I'll find it. I'll send it to you.
Yeah.
read it. Read it.
Don't.
Read.
I mean, that's pretty personal. I'm going to send
kidding.
it to her, and she can do what she wants with it.
That'd be a
So,
story for another time.
Yeah.
Right.
As far as what I learned from, like what I still use, I still do the hour to myself on Sundays. I do that.
Oh wow.
What had said. I randomly do self-talk. Like I remember I was working at HumanX, and I came back in from lunch, and this is when I was in Lincoln, and I came back in from lunch, and one of my coworkers was like, Jordan, you were just like talking to yourself in your car. Like, what's that about? And I was like, oh yeah, I do this weird freaking thing where I talk to myself when I'm really stressed out. And I still do that with law school. I'm like, Jordan, it's not a big deal. Everything's going to be fine. And I just do that. But honestly, like, I'm more created to be in a cubicle by myself going through documents. So I don't use a lot of the sales stuff as much. I just use a lot of the like personal,
Yeah.
regulate your emotions stuff.
That's okay, though. I feel like that's some of the best stuff you get from books, honestly.
It's super important for sure. Yeah. I mean, I think it'd be better to have that than have like the sales skills, but not the other stuff,
Yeah.
I still like write out my goals every single day, and then I put like, I'm in my office right now, but like, see this, I have like my goals right here of like what I want to do this month, and then in my in like Brandon and I's bathroom, I put that stuff out too. For a while I was putting it, Nick, did you live with me when I put it on the microwave?
Yes. You were trying to like check off your goals and numbers and all that stuff. Yeah.
Because then it was
at
like,
Tom James?
I think that would have been at Tom James, right? Still, yeah. But it was like, I felt like if Brandon and my roommates could see it, then like, Nick would be like, Nick was such a great roommate. Will you bring me my wine, please?
Thank you.
And Brandon's a great husband.
I was on your guys' first date. Actually, I was there when you guys first met.
Yeah. I mean,
Wait, Amanda, why was I such a great roommate?
yeah, sorry, I'll finish. Nick was such a great roommate. Well, like I said, Nick, I wasn't saying we didn't get along. Just at the end, we both were, it was just like, you know what I mean? At the end of our time as you roommates, we were just like, I was cranky because I wanted to leave Tom James. And
I don't remember any spats, but go ahead.
do you want to tell them hi?
Thank you.
There's the infamous Brandon Q,
Brandon.
everybody. He doesn't want to be on this, I guess. So. He's been enjoying his evening, if you know what I mean. Nick knows what I mean.
I know what you mean.
Nick was my roommate. What was I saying? Oh, no, don't know. I get really long-winded about things. The point
You're
is,
good.
Nick was such a great roommate, and he was always so good about like, where are you at with your goals? What's going on? Like, are you about to hit them? And he was so good at like, just when I was at Tom James, I was such a different person than I am now, because I really let the sales and the numbers and money like get to me really, really bad. And Nick was so good about just bringing like the real parts of life of like what really matters, sorry, is the point, like of what really matters. And he was such a great roommate for many reasons, but I don't even know why I got started on that. Oh, because because I had my goals out, because I knew Nick would ask about them. It was kind of like an accountability of like, if I have these everywhere, Nick's gonna see them, Brandon's gonna see them. And like, even to this day, if it's like the last day of the month and I haven't hit my goals yet, Brandon will be like, well, what's going on? Why haven't you hit these yet? Like, how are we going to do this? So, that's my biggest thing, is just like, I still constantly write out my goals and just visualize. And I got asked to be on like a really big isogenics call, earlier this week. And a lot of the things they asked me, it just all referenced back to like my Southwestern days. So, anyways.
So isogenics isn't connected to Southwestern, right? It's different.
Not at all. No, I'm like an outlier. Because I sold books, like everybody's like, you did what? You like, it's in isogenics, it's like such a weird thing that I like sold books, but no, it's not. Yeah, it's not connected at all. I actually don't know anybody else who sold books that does isogenics, to be honest. But
what I will say about Amanda is that she was a great roommate, because she taught me, like, if y'all have heard the song Beverly Hills by Weezer, just like, Beverly Hills.
That's what you want to be? You're like, that's Amanda Q.
They got the cleaning ladies that scrub the spaces in between. She taught me to do that for myself. So
hey, that's good.
I use the guest restroom was my bathroom there. So thanks, Amanda, for that one, and among other things. But
sure.
Yeah. So I'm kind of curious, Jordan, Alena, if you want to share anything else about what you use to this day, go ahead. But what are some of your like more favorite experiences knocking on doors? Because y'all shared some experiences that you had at your HQ, Sizzler, all that kind of stuff. What are some of the like most ridiculous things that happened to you while working in the Southwestern program?
You go for it, girlfriend.
I think of this one story that I have from like that summer. It's not really ridiculous. It's more just like I keep it as a fond memory, I think. There are a couple, but I'll say this one. God, this family, I knocked on this guy's door and he's super like, what do you want? Like, what are you selling? Kind of guy. Super bad Massachusetts accent. Like, where'd you park your car? Do you guys take credit cards? Like, kind of shit. And like, finally found out what I was doing and gave him my whole spiel, invited me inside. After he went in by himself, he's like, okay, you can come in. And then he told me, yeah, we have like a 14-year-old daughter. She's not going to come out, but, you tell me what you're selling. I'll go and like relay it back to her like a little bit more until he like went and asked her questions in her bedroom and stuff. And then I sat there for probably like 2 hours and he told me that she had like a flesh-eating bacteria on her face and never came out for visitors, like ever. And just, he was like a super nice guy. And like they bought like not a whole set. I think they just bought maybe math and science. And I came back and I had missed them a couple times. And I wrote a note on their door being like, hey, I'll be back at this day, like 7 p.m. or whatever. And I came back and he was like putting lobster on his grill and shit and like had like wine out for me, whatever. And he was like, okay, well, like she's going to come out of the room. She like wants to meet you. And I like met her and he was like, this is like the first time she's come out for like a stranger in our house in years. Like she's homeschooled now.
Wow.
And like I met her and like got to talk to her and stuff. And that was like pretty damn cool. I don't know. I left kind of like teary-eyed. I was like, that's I felt pretty
Whoa.
special. I don't know.
It is a special
That's so
story.
sweet.
And also one of these times I was at this house, I knocked on their door at like 8:45 or something, and I stayed there for probably like an hour and a half, and they kept trying to give me their son's number who was in the military. And they bought, because like they knew a family that I had bought that I had sold to on my list. It was like a good family, like the Quinlibbins or something was their name. And they had bought for me because the Quinlibbins bought, and then they stayed and like got me to talk to their son or whatever. And I have a little box with Southwestern stuff, and I still have his number. And I'm like, one day maybe when it's like, when I've wasted all my options, I'll go to that.
Oh my God.
That's the last branch I'll hang on to.
There's always that option in my back pocket. And
There's always somebody. I'm not alone. Like that's
epic.
great. Those are good. Those are good stories.
That first one I was like,
yeah. I still think about it sometimes. I don't know.
chopping onions. Rough. Elena, what do you got?
Would you care to share? I know you shared some stories on your specific episode, which plug to watch that one. Anyone?
Oh
listening?
yeah, all 40 minutes of it. I railroaded that. I'm sorry, you guys.
Still
I did a little
fun
bit,
one.
but
This
great.
one's good. Go ahead and share one of your favorite stories from the book field, whether it's a fun, ridiculous one or like a heartfelt, meaningful one. You've had a lot of summers to dip back into, so.
Yeah, I don't have like a lot of favorite stories anymore. So
Elena,
many.
how many summers have you sold?
I did 7.
Shit.
So long. I don't know. Like, I'm not kidding you. I don't know how you guys all did that. No way.
No idea. Like Danny now? Oh my God. We sold.
Yeah, he's probably about right there in that
He
category.
just got done with his 8th.
He's going
But
into
he's not selling this summer, right?
No, not this summer. I'm gonna be an
Because
uncle.
he's-
baby.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah. I'm like, what was I gonna say? I'm still trying to find these pictures. Seriously, I'm sorry. I'm like scrolling through to find these pictures because there's more.
Amanda,
I want to see more. The pictures were fun, but
yeah.
I know.
man, I don't know. Like, I just can't think of a more formative way to spend your late teens, early 20s. I have so many nuggets, whether someone does 1 or 2 summers like Jordan, or you do 7+, I mean, like we both just have such value that it's added to our lives that it's hard to, it's kind of where I've gotten with it a little bit, is like, I can't even like narrow down like something that I love or like a great story. Like, they're all such good stories and they all have merit in different ways. I was even thinking about this in the shower this morning. I'm like, even my like worst summer had so much, now that I'm out enough and like I like the trajectory my life's been on, like the value that provided for me, and like how it's helped me to develop as a person and how I make decisions and how I see the world and the way I process things, and like how that adds value to our society in a lot of different ways, not being a victim, not expecting things, being willing to go make things happen for yourself. And regardless of what happens to you, even when fucking shit happens to you, which we've all had happen, so
like,
God, I don't even have like a favorite story really anymore. I'm just so grateful for my book days.
I don't know if you guys remember this because this was my second summer, but my second summer, my mom sent me with this notebook and she said, will you do me a favor? I know you're so busy, whatever, but will you every night when you get into bed, write down one thing you remember from your day? So whether it was like a really good story, a really bad story, or whatever. So I had this entire book of stories from my second summer. And I actually had the other day I pulled it out and I was like, I'm going to look at this. And I haven't looked at it yet, but I would be super after this. I'll be really intrigued to go look at it because
I would be too. That was probably my hardest year of my 20s. That was such a rough time for me.
2014.
And I was your OL then. Like, I'd be curious, like, what you wrote down.
What?
Remember, that's the summer my dad got in that really bad motorcycle accident. Do you remember
Yeah,
that?
among other things, like
Yes.
Jordan's mom, that was that summer. There was like Paige Meyer wrecked her fucking car. Like, oh my, the amount of shit that happened in my org that summer, I could tell you like horror story after horror story, like on a weekly basis, like rocked me to my core. And it's like one of the best things that's ever happened to me. Like the things I had to deal with and got out of that summer, like that you guys had to deal with and got out of that summer, even though, yeah, I sold shit. Not proud of my units, but like that might be my best summer, honestly, in terms of personal growth and like how it's shaped me. So
it's been a while personally since I've had like a bookmare, right? But I remember like the year, like, oh, what's up, Jordan? That's Pippa. What's up, Pippa?
Sorry, they like barked and wanted to see what was happening.
Reasonable, right? I love those dogs. They're awesome. Now, bookmares, right? This like struggle to let go of the traumatic experiences of rejection and traveling halfway across the country and like, all these problems that you solve on a daily basis and they can affect your business. Like I had bookmares like after every summer, like just constantly reliving my worst experiences from the book field. And I thought that was normal, right? I don't know. Did you guys like have bookmares? Is that still a thing for you? I haven't had any for a few years personally, but
my alarm would go off like for the few months that I would be done with the book field, and I would like have that panic attack that I need to run to the shower.
Right.
One of those, and it was like, and then you're like, okay, I'm in my bed. Like that was what it was for me. That was the only thing. It was never like a nightmare. It was just like when the alarm went off.
Yeah. I feel like I remember vividly every part of every one of my summers because I relived them the months afterwards. Massachusetts, my first 2 summers.
How many summers did you do, Nick?
4. I did Massachusetts first 2 summers, then New York, then Vermont. And I'm grateful for every single one of them, but I can like literally walk through like the progression that I had in my turf. Like I went this way for the first few weeks, and then I went this way, and I, can like plot it all out on Google Maps, and it's like ingrained within me. I'll never forget any of it, and no amount of drugs or alcohol will let it, go away, right? But I suppose, not to dwell on the more negative side of our experiences, but what are some things that I suppose you went through that were a little less than positive, but like, made you a better person, or something that, you had to learn a strong lesson from, anything that you care to bring up on that side of things?
Well, first off, because you said the name already, Alena, Paige May pied me in the face.
Actually, you gotta go watch my first episode. They made me tell the Paige May story. I like kind of forgot. Whatever. I live in the now. Like I kind of forgot about it. And Andres was like,
never forgot.
Tell a good book story. And actually, I was going to tell the one about Amanda and smelling Iowa, because I just think that's like the funniest story ever.
That's not even true. That's
call Daryl. I still have a cell phone number. I'm gonna give it to you.
I will never forget.
I just like always felt like that would be a little embarrassing, like if someone told that about me. So I've saved it for the internet because that's somehow less embarrassing.
I have no filter, and I have no.
I know, well, like I do,
whatever.
But
Anyway.
Yeah. So, anyways, I was gonna tell that story, and I like started in on it, and Andres, like during the podcast, is like, I really want you to tell the Paige May story.
Yeah.
So I told it on that podcast. So you can
go listen to Elena's first episode where she.
I don't think you need any filter. There's no need for names. Like it's fine. So.
I will go like super real on this. That summer was super hard on me. Like I was 18 and I was like basically a child at that point, and like was thrust into all this stuff, had no idea what I was getting into. And I did not handle it very well for like a lot of my summer. I think I followed like once a week. Like I think I counted it. I lost 2 weeks out of my summer.
Or I just wouldn't even let you get in your own car.
Yeah, I'd be like, I'm fine. And you'd be like, no. And
I was like, get the fuck in my car.
I did not. And I think a lot of that was like, maybe we'll talk about this later, but like, I did not appreciate the puke up concept. I hated, like, I do well based on like talking to people in my similar situations and like feeling better about it. And we're not allowed to do that in Southwestern. And that like really affected how like my mindset was. Like, I couldn't relate to anybody because it was like the second I like felt like I was doing bad, I was like, everybody else is out there like fucking killing it. And I just felt like I couldn't, I don't know. It was a very hard summer for me. I think I cried every day. I remember one time I got threatened by a hedge clippers, like a guy with a hedge clippers. He's like, walk near me, I dare you.
Yikes.
And I was like, are you selling something? Do you see these hedge clippers? Yeah, walk away.
Yeah.
Like that. And I remember
like
I cried so hard. That was at like 9 a.m. And I cried for like
feeling like a social outcast, right?
Yeah, it was rough.
Yeah. And just for anyone who's like, Paige May, who's this? Well, go listen to Alena's podcast episode.
With all the deets on that.
Oh yeah. And just the cliff notes is Paige May was a first year who seemed to be very successful, selling 3,000 units or so. Apparently, turns out she lied.
I'm not stupid. I'll just say that. Like,
did you know?
I mean, I did. So early, like, I thought, I was like, there's no fucking way. Like in the end of June, beginning of July, I'm like, there's just no way. And I had some student managers pull all of her shit, go over to HQ, and they're like, oh yeah, it's fine. Took that at face value, which I learned I shouldn't have. And yeah, what happened. So
yeah.
So
she lied. She lied about her business and
pie in the face.
Yeah, she lied and then she pied. So that is traumatic, Jordan.
She danced her way to the center of the circle every week because she did. And I'm like, God. Hey, you know what? I think everyone did better because of her. So we have that.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Positive.
Oh man.
Jordan, what did you, because to follow up with what Nick asked, like the lessons learned from, so how did you like cope with that? Because you still like,
Well.
You are successful now. How did you learn to like, what did you learn about yourself through that?
Honestly, not a lot of positive things. Like I've always been this way. I was super hard on myself always. And I always look to Alena, and God help her. Like, Jesus, she is a saint dealing with me that summer. I think about it sometimes and I'm like, oh my God. Like, oh, if I did that to anyone that I worked for now, like, I would be dropped like this. And she was just, so, and I'm like, am I really doing well? Like, will you tell me every single week? Like, will you tell me, am I doing well? Like, blah, blah, blah. And I was just so like, I needed to know, like, I do well when I can like gauge myself on other people's progress. And you just can't do that. Like, you can't, like, I couldn't go and talk to someone in my position and be like, are you struggling too? Is this hard for you too? Okay, cool. I'm not this weak person. Like, to me, it was really, really hard to deal with all of that, like being so young and like never having been out of my comfort zone. And like, obviously it's hard like that for everybody, but like, if it is, why doesn't everybody like join in on that? And then that would create like a further bond for first years. Like, I don't understand. It was like, even when I would try to talk to someone at a Sunday meeting, there would be like a student manager coming behind us being like, what are you guys talking about? Like, I
mean a little bit, but yeah.
Yeah. So I learned a lot about myself as far as like, but okay, I think I took from that for a while that I kept that with me, that I was like super weak. And I think that was just the people that I surrounded myself with at that point that would be like, no, you're just really weak. Like it wasn't super positive until I stepped away from it, I think.
Wow.
Like, it was a pretty hard experience. Like, I loved my roommates and I loved the friends that I met. But like some other experiences I had like weren't the best with like, because they just.
Jordan kind of went through the ringer a little bit. She did.
Yeah.
For sure.
And I remember one person that was above my class, like he was 2 above our class, I think. And he apologized to me like years later and was like, took me out to a drink and was like, hey, I'm sorry that I kept calling you like a weak person and that, you know, I acted like this toward you, like it wasn't fair. And he had done a bunch of growing in his life and was like, you know, like it's not like, I don't think you're weak. It was just like the mindset of people, like if you cried or like said it was hard, like you were weak, you know, and that like meant a lot to me. But yeah.
So
Yeah.
I, not to interrupt you, Jordan, but like to go off of that, like I think Southwestern is great. And I think I have no filter. So I'm going to try and filter myself on this because I realize there's going to be lots of different people watching this.
This is uncensored.
But I want to be positive about it. So I think that is a Southwestern thing. Like I saw Jordan, like, very similar leadership, through Tom James of like, there's only one way that is right. And if you're not working yourself to death, you're not doing it right. If you're crying, if you're like any of these things, it's not okay. And so I think, and it sucks that like you had to go through that, but like know that there's so many people that have like also gone through that in the Southwestern world, because that's like how Southwestern is. And again, I'm not trying to be like negative about this. I'm trying to Southwestern.
No, I don't think you're being negative. I think it's like, so my opinion is that like, not to cut you off, which I just did.
No,
so I don't know why I said not to cut you off, because that's an asshole thing
You
to say.
cut you off.
But I'm just gonna cut you off. And
No, it's fine.
But
I don't know how to say
no,
it
I don't think. No, I
positive.
don't. No, you're not wrong by any stretch of the imagination. I think it's people that have low self-worth and low self-esteem that find success in Southwestern, find it as a vehicle to put other people down that they deem lesser in some capacity. And sometimes it's through how as I've gotten older, I've found it funny how like us human beings blame our weaknesses on inanimate objects, whether it's a company or a religion or a political party, where it's like, it's a thing. Like we make decisions every day based on our humanity. And so I've noticed that too, though, because like what Jordan's talking about was about as painful for me as it was for her, because I had worked my ass off to build this great team. And there was a student manager at our campus that had literally gotten every other, like basically person that wasn't part of my group and Joel's group to place bets on like how soon Jordan would quit her second summer. And like they did really neat, and which I took very personally, because that was like my fucking team that I was working on. And I obviously care about Jordan, but I think Tom James has a little bit of that, like, no offense, boys, like masochistic mentality that's just very like cut and dry. Like if you're not working hard and you're not doing these things and you cry, like you're just not good enough. And I think it's a little bit of like the turnover you see in the culture a little bit, which is crazy for me to even like admit to where I live, because I live in an area that people tend to label that way. But actually I think it's very much the opposite, because women have always been seen as equals as men, like in agriculture communities, which is where I live. But it's just wild. Like I just think what Amanda's saying is totally accurate, what Jordan went through. And that's like a issue. I think that's why you saw Southwestern take a huge dip for a lot of years, and why hopefully it seems like it's on the up and up. But
yeah,
because the way women have been treated, and that's why I always looked Force over some other organizations, and why I saw how people were treated, because like, oh my God, like I wouldn't have done 7 years of books in any other group.
Crazy.
Just straight up wouldn't have. But
yeah, that had, I was about to say, that has a lot to do with Yvette being like really the central. I mean, Grant was obviously the person that created the Force.
Yeah, I mean,
right?
well, just say like women or like men that were raised to treat women as equals, like is what it comes down to. You know, I mean, Atchison too, and Grant, but like there's a lot of other great leaders that like had a huge impact on people that recruited you guys, you know, like the Keith Hogems of the world. And I don't know. There's a lot of like names I could throw out, but
Yvette was just such a person of like who demanded such respect that it was weird to think of a guy being better at books. Like I always thought women were better at selling books because of Yvette. Like in my mind, I was like,
yeah,
dude,
well,
like,
Atchison always preached that though, like, which I appreciate about him. He's like, you are going to be good at this. Like, you're good looking, you're
Yeah.
well spoken. Like, those are all things that will help you, but they're not the reason you're going to be successful. And he was always very like clear, but well at explaining that like these things help you, but they're not your ticket.
Side note, shout out to Molly Atchison. She is the best Girl Scout of all time.
Sure she is.
You guys, I'm not kidding you. She sends us every year. I tell Matt, I look forward to it every year. So Matt, if you're watching this, which I already texted you about this, but every year she sends Brandon and I this video, and she does her little like Girl Scout motto thing and talks about her cookies and like, thank you for your support. And so
water for anybody who didn't know.
We buy like 10 boxes of cookies every year from her. And we just got our cookies in today.
Yeah.
So
I saw your snap.
Yeah. So shout out, geez, to little Molly Atchison. She's going to be the next superstar book girl because she's already a rock star little Girl Scout. She's the cutest. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but
I'm just kind of rambling at this point.
No,
I just like
to Jordan's.
I just feel for both of you because I think I like went through that too, really with books. But I think it's more like books was a vehicle to reveal like inadequacies a lot of men feel in themselves, and they compensate in other ways, which is something that I think women face in the workplace every day. I don't think it's just Southwestern.
Shout out Hannah Reesberg and Steph Smith for recruiting me. They ran my info session. So
and Maggie Dietzel and Megan Baker. Sorry.
I don't even think it's like all women or like men. I think
it's definitely not
the culture. It's the, and again, like I will preface this. I am beyond grateful for Southwestern. I am beyond grateful for Tom James. But after I've walked out of the culture and I am now not with a sister company, I look back and I'm like, how is that ethical? How did they get away with that?
It's not
there's so many things. And I saw it more with Tom James than I did with Southwestern. Because I think I was just naive at, Southwestern and
it's
I don't
like your
know,
first kind of corporate job. Like it's naive at it.
But it's just that I think going forward, and I've talked to so many people that have left Tom James, but about this, but like, I think that Southwestern and Tom James have such this old school mentality, and it has worked for a million years. And I get it. And I get the certain people, it's going to continue to work. But I think if things don't change, with some of these some of the sister companies, I think they're really going to lose a lot of really great candidates because they're not willing to like get up with the times. And I will say at Aisha's baby shower, it was so cool because we went and like, there was people from Force, there was people from Eagle Blitz, there was like JYD people. It was really cool to see that as far as Southwestern goes, the culture has changed. And I think a big part of that is obviously Pagosi marrying Groom, two different like organizations, and then like Danny and Aisha being friends with them. But I thought it was really cool. And that's what Shayna said to me. She's like, Southwestern has changed a lot and we all hang out now.
Like how so has it changed?
Well, more of, and I'm not saying like the day-to-day or any of that. I'm saying like, do you remember it was like, we always hung out with us or JYD, and it was like, we didn't maybe get along as well with Eagle Blitz, or it was more of a competition.
But there was like a lot of reasons that I don't even know if I want to say on camera that we chose to operate Force in that way.
Yes.
And that's, I mean, truthfully though, but that's like why for as long as like we could afford to, we didn't have Sizzlers with them because of the choices that they make in those environments. And the situations that result from those environments. And like, no knock on any of those people. Like there's bad apples in every group and there's good apples in every group, but like
didn't our organization get banned off of some resorts? Because
I don't know.
Never did. But those groups
but
yeah,
I would say
like I mean there's just whatever. Like it's just I don't
to answer your question, Jordan, I would say one of the ways from a personal standpoint that I've seen just from being associated with Southwestern through my brother is I think one of the things that has changed I don't know to a giant extent, but at least in the force because of Danny's like leadership, I would say, is that there's not as much as what you experienced anymore of like this toxic feeling of like shunning if you leave, or like this feeling of like, oh, this is the best thing in the world, so if you're not doing this, you're obviously an idiot, why would you not come back, this is the best thing. I mean, at least that's what the pressure I remember there was for some people of like wanting to come back. There's more of like the buying atmosphere now where it's like, hey, if you want to come back you can, but if you don't, it's totally cool. And I feel like it's getting more towards that, which is eliminating a lot of this pressure of like feeling like you have to come back and sell more books in order to feel like you're worth shit in your life, because that's sometimes I from personal conversations I've had with other alumni and also just from like this podcast, there's not as much people that are leaving now that are saying I left too late. That was like a very common thing we're finding with older book people is like, I stayed like 1 or 2 summers too far. And so that's changing because of this mentality of like, hey, if you don't want to come back, it's fine, get out, but it's okay if you stay, if it's okay if you leave, we think you should, but it's up to you. So I think that's one of the ways that it's changed a lot, at least in from what I've seen. I don't know as much obviously from the other side, but
like I said too, I think the community, I mean, obviously healthy competition is always good and competition within groups is always good, but like I just got like at Danny and Aisha's this weekend, I got like a sense of peace with everybody that was there. And like I said, there was people from all organizations there and they were all like such good friends and intermingling, and it's like Southwestern has become like a whole family versus like a divorced family where people take sides. I don't know. I something like that maybe. And so I just think that maybe Southwestern is trying to become more, like Andre said, more of a family culture of like, you know what, we love this, we think this is great, but if it's not for you anymore, we totally get it. And so maybe less pressure. I'm not, I'm just telling you from what I see from spending time with some of these people. But
I would never like take back any of that. Like I'm super grateful for Southwestern. I feel like I learned a lot. I made like great friends and I'm super thankful for it. I wouldn't hate on it at all. I think there are things that could change, but that's with any organization, it's just, I feel like it's so Machiavellian. Like it's very like, you're going to conform to a certain, like, it's an 1800-year-old, like 1800s internship. Like they need to change with the times and they haven't. And door-to-door sales, in my opinion, is like going to wane out in a certain amount of years. And like, it's just, they have to change their perspective and adapt. I mean,
I'm knocking on doors to this day, so I will say that.
Do it.
I wouldn't even say as much, Jordan, with like Southwestern. I would say though, with their sister companies like Tom James and Consulting and like some of their sister companies, the way that they're run is so old school, and it's worked forever. Like I'm not saying like I had great success at Tom James. I'm not saying it doesn't work, but I'm saying I've seen it because I did recruiting for Tom James. We lost a lot of really good people because they weren't open to changing things at all. And like, especially now, like sales companies, people our age, like, okay, my brother and his wife work for Fusion. They have happy hours, beer pong tournaments, all these things. Like on a Friday, 3:00, you go get drinks, you do this, you do that. Tom James wouldn't, I don't want to say never, but like it would be insanely rare to do something like that. And so I think it's just going to be hard for them to continuously get really great candidates if they don't change some things.
like salespeople have like a certain stigma in the corporate world of like being partiers and being like really good with people and like love to interact and like all this kind of stuff. And if you don't like absorb that into a sales company and like create that for the future, you're not going to attract great candidates. Like people that are good at sales will go to any different sales company. Like they don't have to like work as hard and like people now, they're not looking for like the, you know, we're going to dig our heels in and we're going to work 80 hours a week and we're not going to get thanks for it at all. And we're going to build our character. They're looking for like, hey, how can I make money and how can I do it in the easiest way possible? Like that's what people look for. Like that's just a generation. So like
I agree. And whether it's right or wrong, that's I a million times. I mean, I agree. I do hope though that Southwestern is still not going to first when I have kids, because like I really want my kids to sell books.
That would be such a cool experience, like
for them.
I love that.
Yeah, and just for the record, because in case there's someone listening who doesn't know, Tom James is a sister company of Southwestern. They sell custom-made clothing. We are not sponsored by Tom James. I should also say that just in case I need to say that.
Our podcast.
I got a job. I got a job with Tom James right after college in the Minneapolis office. Like I almost went to Tom James and sold with them for a little bit after I graduated.
Wait, what? Did I know this? I'm sure I did.
I came to see you. I came to see you in Omaha. You're still at your current house. And I came to see you. Yeah, what's Tom James about? I'm interviewing with them. And they offered me a position in the Minneapolis office. And
I'm sure at that point I was like, hell yeah, come work for Tom James.
Yeah, you were drinking that Kool-Aid hard. That spiked Kool-Aid.
Dude, this episode has gone from like Iowa smelling farts to like dancing in the rain to deep.
We're a wild bunch.
I'm enjoying this. Is
a bunch of girls that call it like they see it. I think is what you got on your hands. So
more of that.
For Jordan. So Jordan went on Brandon and I's first date together. So did you think that Brandon and I would ever make it
this is fun. Let's talk about this.
Amanda, do you remember me passing out in a chair that night at 8 p.m.? I do.
Yes. That's my girl.
Yes.
Oh, you guys do not disappoint.
I remember. I was on a date with Josh, I think, at that time.
Yes.
Yeah, and I was 19, and we all went to Hero and like got drunk.
Well done.
Yeah, and I remember you looked so happy. I took that first picture of you guys ever.
Oh God!
I remember the first time that you guys met. We were in that mall. It was me and my mom and you and Tyler. And he came up to you and you're like, who the fuck is that guy? Like,
I was literally. I did not know. Like Brandon and I talk about this all the time because people are like, how'd you meet? We're like, well, technically we met on the beach in Mexico, but we actually met in Nashville. And Brandon's like, yeah, you were literally so stuck up.
You were not nice to him.
Because I think it was, I know it wasn't. I don't really have an excuse except that I was with my ex at the time. But like after the fact, people were like, you know, oh, I didn't know who he was. They're like, that's Brandon Q. I'm like, I don't know who that is. Like, that doesn't mean anything.
Well, and when you're at first, you're like, that means nothing to you. You don't fucking care. You're like, I just finished my summer. I did this for fucking 3 months, which is an accomplishment. Like,
yeah.
You don't care. Like, why would you care? Like, I remember not caring. Like,
I didn't know who sold a lot.
I was just ready to fucking party. Like, that's what you're there to do.
All I wanted to do was go and party. That's all I wanted to do.
And it was like, I had just seen my boyfriend for the first time in how many ever months. And I tell Brandon to this day, and he'll be so mad I said this, but I got him and Will Metcher always mixed up. Like, I didn't know who was who. The same person. Like,
who didn't?
I tell this to Brandon. I'm like, honestly, I could have married Will. It would have been like the same.
Oh my God.
I didn't know the difference. I mean,
still does. It's crazy. Last weekend. Is he
Yeah, I
still?
was like, I think it's fine. I'm sure other girls have made that mistake in the same evening. I don't, it's
Which is a
fine.
compliment to both of them. But shout out to Will Measure. He's gonna be on an episode on us shortly.
Oh yeah, we need to reschedule them. Will had kidney stone removal surgery, and we need to
Fun
get
getting old.
Yeah.
We no, like to me it was like, well, and you guys can attest to this. It was like Brandon and Will always kind of together at meetings. They were kind of like the same build, kind of the same height. They were both kind of like weird dudes, but sold a lot of books.
All weird dudes that sold a lot of books. You could just say it.
We gotta tag Will
I
in
don't know
this.
why you're trying to be so nice right now. You've already married him. You've sealed the deal. You don't have to sugarcoat it.
They both
Just say like tall weird dudes that sold a lot of books.
both lived in the stable, so they, that they
Will
called it
Measure.
for a certain reason. They like it was just to me they were like the same. This is the craziest thing. When Alena was like, hey, you need to text Brandon or Will. This was after Sizzler. She's like, you need to text Brandon or Will to get advanced sales coaching. And
Alena.
This is how.
Yeah, because you're not gonna fucking get it from me. I'm busy. Go get it elsewhere.
I married Brandon. I feel like I would have married Will if I would have texted Will first. I'm not kidding with this. Like I texted Brandon first because
I hope Will watches this.
talked to
I
him
really
on
do
His
too.
fiance.
I really do too.
Listen to Amanda. Let Amanda finish her
So
point.
funny. I think I'm hilarious.
No, I wouldn't have married Will. He's not my type. But
Okay.
no, but seriously, it was like Alena was like, you need to text one of them about advanced sales. And I remembered on Sizzler, the last day I talked to Brandon quite a bit. And I was like, oh, he seems like a cool guy. I'll text him about it. And then that started, Brandon wrote that in our like wedding speech thing. Like that literally started Alena making me do that, started like our whole relationship thing, whatever. But it's like, if I would have texted Will first, I don't know, like, who knows? Like I could have, I don't know. Anyways, that's
Hilarious.
that.
We're letting it all out on the
That's
Ponytails
that.
podcast.
Any of you guys
Pretty good at airing it out. Pretty
have any of
good.
you guys talked to Ethan Callahan?
Yes.
No, I think about
I
him,
still
but
do.
I'm not.
He works
wedding.
he works at the Applebee's like 25 feet from me, like literally just next to me. I saw him a week ago. I talk to Ethan regularly. Yeah, he's awesome.
What are you doing?
He's a great man. He Amanda, I can tell you for another time why he could not make it to your wedding.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you invite Will Pickering to your wedding?
No, because so I was at so Will was in my office.
Hey Will, shout out to Will Pickering.
I love
No,
Will.
there's not really a reason why. It's just that I wasn't that close with him. We did Tom James together and he didn't make it. And so I didn't like stay connected to him at all, really. That's the
Long and short of it.
Yeah, that's long. Well, and we had, as far as book people, it was like, Brandon sold obviously for 8 summers. So like there were so many people.
There was a ton
that he knew that I didn't know. Like I don't know who Nick Henderson is. I don't know who like some of those people are that he invited.
They're like my era, our era, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was,
yeah.
and
no, there was a lot of like blasts from the past there, which made it really fun. So
Yeah.
you wanted this. It was just like, I had to kind of like, make my group a little bit smaller because it was like we had to have like family and like hometown people there too. So
yeah, you could have got a bigger tent. I don't know. I'm just kidding.
Giant, beautiful wedding, Amanda. It was great.
It was so beautiful.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, good
yeah,
times.
except Alena, last time I saw her, she's like, yeah, it could have been warmer in there. I'm like, I'm sorry. That's why
I probably bitched about that. I was like, well, I thought for sure it's going to be inside. It's cold out. It's snowing. There's no way I'm going to wear this jacket and dress.
Hey,
I was sweating.
My fault. My fault.
I hope that you got warmed up by alcohol.
I was sweating from the dancing,
your ass
so
I did.
it was all good. It was all good. but yeah, I can tell you why he didn't make it later on. And then Jordan, that's what he's up to now. So he's doing great. He's managing an Applebee's, and it's all legit, fine and dandy for those of you wondering.
He just has the best laugh. He has one of those contagious laughs where like
He is a sweet human being.
he's so sweet. Greatest guy. So is Will Pickering. Sweetest guy.
Miles Ham is commenting saying that we have a pretty solid ratio right now. So
And that I have a great haircut.
The ratio.
You know what, Nick? I will comment if I could make a comment or two, because you know, if there's anything I could confess in my life is being I'm gonna say it, I am way too mean to Nick Tuberty. I've always been really hard on you, haven't I? I have. I've been a little rough on you, bud, and you look good and it sounds like you have a good job, and
Thanks.
I am so happy to see you doing well. So please
I
don't
remember
take
when I first
all of
met-
my
You psycho.
roughness, sandpapery edges that I have as anything other than tough love. Ask these girls. They
Oh,
are,
Alena, it's all
they're
love.
well meant. I'm just a very rough person on the edges.
I remember when I first met you, Alena, it was before my first summer in Omaha at a get back that I was invited to, and as a first
You asked
year,
some questions and I was like,
yeah, it
yeah,
was
probably
the
that would be me.
Semtex bowling complex that also had like a go-kart thing and everything and all
Oh.
the fun stuff. It was awesome. And then I just remember like standing in line for like something that was supposed to be fun. I think it was like paintball or laser tag or something. And you were like going into your like fourth summer or fifth summer, and I'm just like, yeah, tell me about your experience. And then just like the amount of info that you were dumping onto me was just like,
Oh my God, I can't.
I had this
imagine, yeah.
glaze over my face, like, oh man, Alena is just like, oh. and I was like, you know what? She's a secret chick who knows what she's doing. She's like somebody to follow, and also like, you know, somebody.
I'm just a very intense
Yeah.
all or nothing
I
person.
love that about you. I love that about you.
So
feature.
and so
I just am more blunt than I ever.
Oh,
needed
we
to
got
be.
look
Brandon.
who it is.
What's up,
It's
man?
you.
Much. What are you guys up to? Just doing
Uh,
Oh,
Shit.
just
Are we ruining date night?
why do you join date night?
Just put him on the side, Amanda.
Yeah,
Just this-
that
this-
chair looks large enough for more than one butt cheek. So
By the way,
The part about me saying I was going to marry Will, so I guess.
peanut butter seed.
by the way,
that was your words, not mine. I didn't
if
even
you-
know that.
by the
FYI.
way,
I
if you
was
have not heard, Miles is saying no longer a solid ratio. I will say, if you have not heard Brandon and Amanda's episode, go listen to that. If you have not heard Miles' Ham episode, great episode, love that
That's
one.
probably entertaining.
And it was very good.
Hey,
episode,
Miles,
yeah.
shout out to you. Probably
Shout out to-
entertaining AF. So
He's a
I
very
don't know.
good-looking, intelligent man. You should go find out who that is.
nice flow.
I have a
Solid
boyfriend.
flow. Oh well, yeah.
He's
So
still-
do I.
Recent. It's recent.
You do? Not the same one?
No, he told me that book people were weird at Amanda's wedding.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh shit!
You're so weird.
He was like, these people are really fucking weird, and we broke up like a week later.
Really? Well, I think that's basically what happened to me, aka my marriage ended. But yeah, kind of the same thing. So
I remember
My
meeting.
wedding broke
his
up
boyfriend.
two couples. Is this what I'm hearing?
Basically.
maybe
For the better.
might
For
have
the better.
might have
opinion.
expedited the process that was already
No.
in flow.
For the
I-
better.
Hey, you know, don't feel responsible. That just means, hey, you know what? This is the deal. It was so funny. Because I live very close to South Dakota, which, whatever. I'm not going to get political on this, but
No, so.
God bless Kristi Noem and people that want to keep countries open or states or whatever. Anyways, I've been to a lot of concerts, had a lot of fun, and I went to a big rodeo and concert like a month or two ago and ran into my cousin who was like, oh, what are you doing? And like getting married and whatever. And I was like, well, I'm not getting married anymore. And he was like, oh, I feel so sorry for you and all this shit. And I was just finally like, I just don't want pity, because I'm sure you two can relate to this, but like, I don't want to be married to a weak-minded person.
Oof.
I just don't. Like, life's hard. The climate we live in is very difficult. The amount of things that we all face in our own little worlds every fucking day is crazy. We live in a crazy time. There's a lot of shit going on. And like, the last thing you need is someone to like take their cross that Christ has given them and beat you with it. Like, you just don't need that. Everybody's given their cross to carry for their own reason. And I'm just not a fan of people that try to hand it off. And not to get all preachy, but I just like, whew, I feel so strongly about that. And that's why I'm very happy for Brandon and Amanda, because they're both strong people that are going to like serve each other well and serve themselves well. But like,
Yeah.
I don't fucking want empathy, because like, I don't want to be married to a weak-minded person ever. And so like, if you can figure that out sooner rather than later, like if that's one thing you could take away from selling books, is like, strong-minded people are like the people to associate yourself with, regardless of their views on life. Like, I think that's the best thing you could ever get out of Southwestern. So
Oof.
One thing that I like learned from Southwestern is like fucking positive people and really fun people like make an impact in your life, and they're out there, you know, like,
and they're there no matter what. Like, they can have the weirdest shit going on and they're still out there like being fun, being positive, and being impactful. Like
after that wedding and he was like that, I was like, we've dated for 4 years, and I was like, no.
What?
We've been together for 5, and he broke up with me about 10 days to the day of your guys' wedding. Like,
wow. Yeah, so that revealed quite a bit. And I gotta say, Jordan, I cold read, didn't see too much fire there, but anyway, we're all in a better spot now.
Okay.
And
Super weird. I ended up dating a guy from my law school class who I was always friends with, and he ended up he's from Fremont, Nebraska, and he was in my law school class, and we ended up just like, I took him out for a drink after he took the bar, and we like ended up dating, like just super randomly. And his friend Alena, his like best friend from high school, got arrested for vandalizing the Valentine High School. Like,
no, I was in high school, really?
Yeah.
Mike McLeod? It's Mike McLeod, isn't it?
No, his name's Jesse. His name's Jesse Carr.
Jesse Carr. Yeah. That kid's a freaking animal. He played basketball at Colorado State.
What is going on right now?
Jesse played basketball at Colorado State too.
Did he really? Good for him. No, Jesse was a fucking animal. But those motherfuckers, we like had this giant oak tree in the parking lot that like whatever. Anyways, I digress. They like
me that, and I'm like, I have a fucking friend from Valentine.
Yeah, no, I was in high school, and those motherfuckers were so mad because they like stacked their team that year and went to state. They won state. They did very well. Anyways,
what is going on right
I'm
now?
gonna digress. I'm just gonna digress on all my like Mike McLeod and Jesse Carr comments. And what's your friend's name?
My boyfriend's name's Wes Eichmeyer.
He went to Fremont Bergen.
Yeah.
Yeah, he played at Colorado State. He started. He's gonna think I'm a creep that I know all that. But yeah, he was a beast. He was a beast. No, my brother like followed him big time. Anyways, my brother was very good at basketball too. But yeah, very good. Yeah, you can tell I'm like, oh my old student manager like knows he went to Fremont Bergen. Because no, the crazy thing was, so they went to the Sweet 16 this year. He would love me for this, but freaking Colorado State went to Sweet 16 that year, and they had 5 guys from Nebraska and like the 6th man off the bench, and like had all these just like JUCOs. There was Wes, Jesse Carr. There was these 2 brothers that went to Omaha. They went to Central that were just fucking beasts that my brother actually put
showing him this. I'm never showing him this, but continue.
Well, I'm never showing my current boyfriend this because he's like, hey, I saw you're doing a podcast tonight. I'm like,
never showing him this.
He's like, send me the link later. And I'm like,
dude, okay. I told my dad that lives in Nebraska still, and he's like, oh, I know who that is. Like, don't know him personally, basketball guy, right?
No, I think he's the same age as me. Like,
Yes,
he's got to be like, he graduated in like 07 or 08 probably.
So we've been friends
This
for a
is
few years.
wild.
We just randomly like went out
It's
to drink.
Nebraska, bud. I mean,
I just
like
went to
literally,
Vegas
like if you don't live in like Lincoln, Omaha, or Grand Island, you know everybody.
Amanda and Brandon, I'm actually going to a wedding with him this weekend in Omaha. I'm gonna be in Omaha tomorrow. Yeah.
Oh,
Come hang out with us.
You guys should come get a drink with us on Saturday night. We're going to a wedding and then we're going
I'm
to
literally gonna text my brother right now that you're dating Wes Eichmeyer. I'll
Dang it.
tell you his response.
To Harlan, I'm supposed to go to the Pheasants Forever banquet.
I'll be around though.
Okay, Brandon, I'll text you. Just kidding. Don't have your number.
I don't have your number either. I broke my phone last
I'll
weekend.
just stop by. I know where you live.
We got our whole family here for you guys. So
There
it is.
Aw.
What about Friday night?
Holy moly. I am
You
so,
want me
I
to
don't
come
even
to
know.
Omaha and I can just inundate him with basketball knowledge? Would that be fun?
No.
Would that be a great date for you guys for me to show up?
No, I'm acting so coy.
I was like, I didn't think so. You can say
This-
no. It's fine.
Amanda,
This
you're
has got to
really
be
fun.
what?
the most
Really
versatile
gonna be
episode.
fun.
Yeah, I'm supposed to go home for the Pheasants Forever banquet. Sorry. Kirk's buying my ticket. So, free me.
Gotta
That
go.
sounds fun.
Man, next time
Holy-
you and Wes Eichmeyer do something together, though.
Go hang out
Or
with
maybe
Wes,
Amanda and
then.
I should make a road trip and come to the cities and you take us out.
Dude,
Do
I'm down
it.
with that. Hey, you
That'd
know
be
me.
fun AF. I would be into that.
I'm a
You
network.
guys.
I got the freest schedule of anyone.
I run my own office. I do
I live
whatever
in
the
a
fuck I want.
I live in a 1-bedroom apartment, but I do have a nice couch that you guys can sleep on.
Is there room to put, frosting and peanut butter on the night shelf so someone feels a little bit at home? Or
I already have it stocked.
That is
Oh.
a shout out.
I
We're
do
in.
want to reference what you guys were talking about like, okay, well, my dog's making out with my husband, so that's that.
well, you also made a lot of comments about being married earlier in the group text. So
Me?
you're like, marriage date night, blah blah blah.
I know, I'm joking.
I know.
No, I wanted to reference like I totally agree with you guys on like being with somebody that is like-minded and kind of that went through something similar, because like when I was at Tom James, I coached. And so I would coach the new partners. And a lot of the times it was like their spouses were not supportive or whatever it was. And it was so hard for me to relate because it's like my whole life I've been with somebody who is so like-minded and like did sales and whatever and like is supportive of everything. If I have to work 12 hours a day, 3 hours a day, 20 hours a day, like it doesn't matter. And it's like I think that a lot of people take that for granted or like don't realize that, but like really being with somebody who actually understands that work ethic is insane. And it's something that like a lot of people don't get. You know what I mean? Like I was just
Yeah.
referencing back to you, like
No.
Jordan were saying, and it's like it's so insanely true. And I do
Not
take
even just the hours. It's not really the hours. It's the mindset. I
No,
think,
it's the mind,
harder
exactly,
part.
the mindset. But it's like him and I are on this like so much of the same page about goal setting for our future home, our future kids, our finances, our this, our that, like all the things that we learned in Southwestern that again, like you kind of take for granted maybe in a relationship. Like I think we probably do. And then like talking to you guys, it's like, holy cow, you're right. Like not every relationship has that. I don't know.
Yeah, probably.
I take back what I said. The hours thing that you were just talking about, that's something I take away. Because I like literally study for so many hours and like have the mental mindset to be able to do that now. And like knowing that I'm going to go into a job working 80 hours a week, I'm like, shit, sorry, I'm a little drunk, so I'm burping. But
Yeah, because I haven't said fuck how many times. Like, sorry.
Oh, she's burping. That's
knowing
like,
that I'm going to go into like a
Oh,
corporate law job working like 85, 80 hours a week, I'm like, I've already done that. Like nothing can be as bad, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Man,
Brandon, would you like to say anything?
Man,
girls.
show has gone down a slippery slope. This is a sloppy ass show that you're running here.
So sloppy.
Appreciate it.
I think that's the goal.
Feel
Real
free to
great.
donate and sponsor and help us.
No, man, it's been great.
As per my Facebook post earlier today, not everything's meant to be motivating, inspiring, and informative. So
No.
What?
Yeah.
What's the middle name?
Those are your middle names. My middle name's like have a good fucking time and live your life, I think. So.
Yeah,
That is
get
right.
sloppy.
No, it's entertaining.
Bottom line, I
Good
think
stuff.
Southwestern can benefit any person that ever goes into it. I honestly do. But I think the people that are like lifers are different. Like I think, like for me personally, I'm meant to be in a cubicle. Like I'm literally meant to like be reviewing documents. Like I'm not a lifer. I'm not meant to be one. I wouldn't have done well staying for a long time. I think people do well doing that, but I think it's just like it's a good experience for the summer. But I think that's what you were talking about, Amanda, of like they need to have a culture of just being like, okay, like it's not your deal, like that's cool. Let's still remain connected. Because like as a company, you want to remain connections with as many people as you freaking can. That's just how you have a good network. And the way that they do it now of like cutting people off and stuff and like that bad culture, like I think there's
I think you're
like,
totally right.
Everybody can like benefit from it. I firmly believe that. I just think it's different for different types of people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think did I have this conversation with you boys or I can't remember.
You might have.
Or I was just like, if you're an undergrad, like if you have not got a degree yet, and you should get a degree in 4 to 5 years, like there's no reason not to. Like you're just fucking pissing money down the drain if you're not. But
I look at it, and most of the people that were in,
but like, so like the people that are like, oh, take a year off and full time. I'm like, that's so selfish to say to somebody. Like, I just don't have time for that type of attitude.
Southwestern.
I know. Maybe you did that. I don't think you did, but maybe you did. I know you guys. I watched you guys look down, and now Amanda's putting her hand over her mouth, so that's fine.
Well,
like whatever.
I didn't do that. I was out of school.
It doesn't.
I just like have strong opinions against that, and always have, because I'm like, you know what? Like you're paying your time. Go get your degree. Like it has purpose, regardless of what people say. Go get your degree. But like I have just always been very strong about like.
Amanda, you go first.
I have a very strong opinion about making people feel bad that they did not sell books past their graduation date. Like, I think there's so much wrong with that.
This is probably going to be.
That's all I was trying to say.
This is probably going to be super controversial, but I think people going into like professional degrees like medical school or law school should only sell 1 to 2 summers. Like I honestly believe that, because Southwestern does not encourage you to do well at your studies. Like, because it's too fun. You have too many friends around. Like it's like you have so many obligations besides selling books in the summer, as like 1 summer is going to do what to your resume as it would like 5 summers essentially, like for that kind of a degree. Like it's just, I remember one time I was sitting in a boat with Andrew Benson, and he was like, I'm going to be an engineer. I'm getting out of Southwestern. He's like, this is not fucking helping me at all at this point. Like engineers do not need social skills. And he's like, I shouldn't have even like done this, you know?
However, to that, he did tell me a story later on that his experience with Southwestern and it ended up getting him a job that was, I'm not going to say numbers, but it was significantly higher.
Well, just like Jordan's story,
like that got
me
a job.
But
like it literally got me a job too. Like that's what I'm saying. Like everyone should sell at least 1 summer.
1 or 2. Yeah, I agree with that. Yep,
like,
that's
what I mean is I'm like, if you're an undergrad, like you can't tell me wiping asses as a CNA is somehow looking better on a medical school application than selling books door to door. Like I will argue that to the death. I mean, just shit like that. Like, that's what I mean. But like, until you have a 4-year degree, there is nothing better, in my opinion, that you could be doing with your time than selling books door to door. And like, I will pound your dick into the ground and prove that.
So much about the rest.
Because I'm right. I'm correct.
Going on your tombstone.
What?
No, but like for real though, like that's the same thing though. It is. Like once you get into professional school, whether it's law school or medical school or whatever, like
no, I already
knock yourself out. But like the things that you could do in that internship that you had in the summer, you could have also had in a part-time job during the school year and still partied your face off and mopped the floor up at the bar afterwards. Like it's not like
Alena's on
people just
fire.
should value time more, I guess is what I'm getting at. Cause like I had a fuck ton of fun. I worked my ass off. I ran track in college and like I recruited big teams and I sold books. And I also logged about 30 hours a week at Texas Roadhouse and I graduated debt free and like I had money to go party and I backpacked Europe when I was done. And like,
What else did you do?
Badass.
I didn't sleep. You think I'm missing that? Does it look like I am? I have a good moisturizer because I can afford it.
Brandon had something.
Yeah, Brandon, what were you saying?
Again, Brandon can afford a good moisturizer too, which is why he looks damn good at 31 years old or how old he is.
You and Brandon are so small in this.
We are?
Yeah, because you're like this.
There we go.
There.
So, I mean, I'm not like, I will step off my soapbox now, but like, I don't know. You want to have fun in your 20s, do it. Stop making excuses for yourself. Stop acting like wiping butts is important or pushing someone's papers. Like, go have a good fucking time. Go work your ass off and actually see what you're made of. Like,
I mean, I think it's different. I think it's different for everybody because like I did Southwestern. I'm not cut from the same cloth as like everybody else. I'm a really emotional person. Like I'm gonna be.
I don't think you're different though. That's the funny thing. Like, you think you're different, but I don't think you are.
No, but I literally, the one thing all my law school friends say about me, like my identifier is like, oh, she's a really hard worker. Like that's all anybody ever says about me is like, oh, she's really.
What do you identify yourself as?
Oh, well, like the same, but like I'm not super.
They say that or because you think
where
that?
I can do sales all the time. Like I did it because I like worked hard or whatever, but like I think it's different for people that are motivated by like their own numbers and stuff. And I just like really wasn't. I was motivated by like things I wanted, like going to Sizzler and stuff. And like I loved the people. Everybody's wonderful in Southwestern. Like everybody was so sweet and so nice. And I loved being surrounded by those people. Like I think there's just different personalities in it, and you can, as a business, Southwestern should utilize those personalities and be like, okay, let's like turn and burn this person for 1 summer, for 2 summers, let's get some units out of them, and then let's send them on their way and keep a connection. That's what they need to do.
So here's what I think. I honestly am so beyond grateful that I full-timed, and the reason, so it's like, obviously I'm so grateful I did my first and second summer, but full timing for me, like changed my life. If I could have done a first summer and full timed and just done 2 versus like even 3, it's not about the number of years for me. It's about what I got out of my years. And going into Tom James, the reason that I was able to like break, you know, some of the records and like do some of the things I did is because like when they said you have to do 35 dials or 85 dials a day, I was like, and you have to do it like in 2 hours. Like they're like, people were complaining about having to phone for 2 hours at Tom James. I'm like, I used to phone for like 5 to 7 hours on the weekends and like all these things. And then it just, again, I like always have really long stories. The point is, like full timing for me changed my life. Like going into Tom James and being able to have full timed, it's 100% what like attributed to my success so quickly in Tom James was I knew how to talk to people, and I had the idea of phoning for 5 to 7 hours wasn't that long. So phoning for 2 hours, I'm like, hell yeah, I got this all day long. Like I can do that.
Because you're a fucking badass.
Hey,
well, it's not even about, it's not that, it's just the fact of, I think if people could do Southwestern for 2 years at least, and 1 year is their first year and their second year is the full-time year, I'm not sure you need to sell for 5 years and full-time for 2 years or whatever. But if you can get the skills of selling, building a team, phone calling in a few years, Alena, what do you think about that?
I agree with Amanda. I full-time before I graduated. I know Alena feels strongly about this, but I am so glad I did that.
Well, and
Yeah,
I waited till,
I think those
I
are like
graduated
irrefutable
first.
skills. I think to Jordan's point, like what I agree with Jordan about is that there are skills that like matter that can't be gained anywhere else, and they matter to all careers. And I'm a big fan of that. And like I just think like in the 4 years of what most college kids spend doing in a summer, there's few things more beneficial. Sure, yeah, full timing's amazing, but like I can't tell you the amount of kids that I like. And that's probably like circles back a little bit to the Southwestern way that could be better, of like watching people be talked into things that they shouldn't be doing, and watching kids take a year off from school to full time when that just prolonged their degree by 3 years, which meant they spent 3 times the money, which like for the financial prowess, quote unquote, that Southwestern promotes, like you make all this money and you're going to be ahead. Like you're not really helping people if you're not helping them spend it wisely. Like, tell me I'm wrong. So I've just always taken issue with that, but I think what Jordan's saying has some merit.
Well,
I think full timing has merit. I think the thing that Southwestern could do better of is like Southwestern rips open a lot of emotional growth that we all go through sometime in the 10 years between being 21 and 35. And if you helped people handle that better, like you wouldn't, frankly, we wouldn't be having these conversations, is my thought.
Yeah. I think
because there's so much to be learned and developed in those formative years, that things I wish I would have learned earlier, but I didn't learn until I was, 27 or 28 because of whatever reasons. And yeah, I don't know. I don't think there's a wrong way.
I think
Case by case, right?
Yeah.
It's, I mean, it is like, who am I to say that, like, I mean, God, look at a guy like Dan Moore. Like, who am I to say that I know better, or that you know better, or that Jordan knows better? Like, we all do the best at what we can. And like, I think if you're leading from the heart, I think that's the biggest thing. Like, if I want to circle back to something positive, which I would like to, is God, just giving people your best, like till you have nothing left, and giving people love when you don't feel like you have it, and maybe you feel like they don't deserve it, and learning how to do that day in and day out. Like, if you could take that away from Southwestern, I don't fucking care how many summers you saw, but like, that's something people sorely need. Everyone aches for it, and our country needs it. And I have an immense amount of empathy because of time I spent on the book field, and I am grateful for it every day, because you know what, people need it really bad. So that's what I have to say about that. Like, I don't think we need to debate the small stuff. Is that, like, if anything, we've all learned that people need love, because if you have not knocked on a door that you thought like, wow, that guy's life is super fucked up, he seems very angry, and I can't imagine opening my door and treating someone like that, because my life is so bad that I had to answer the door to a stranger in that way. And you didn't in that moment internalize that and say like, wow, I'm going to take that and go give love. And if I can at least walk away from here with that guy feeling better than he did when he opened that door, even if he still slams it in my face, then I didn't fucking do my job today. Then you're still not doing your job today. I digress. I'm done. But like, that's
very good.
Be and done. What I have to say about Southwestern is like, if you're not out there making the world a better fucking place, and you didn't get a damn thing out of Mortally, and you should be ashamed of yourself.
Pony stories, right?
Yeah, amen.
No, it's not a pony story. It's
no, remember the pony, just Mort Utley, right?
If you're not better today, like I say that to myself literally every fucking day. I'm not kidding. It's like, if I'm not better today than I was yesterday, and if I'm not better tomorrow than I was today, then I'm not the person that God made me to be. And that's a fucking abomination. And that's like in Mort Utley, and I just have lived my life by that for the last 15 years, and I'm very grateful for that statement. So
the world makes way.
Andres is going. He's tried to talk like 7 million times. So
that's okay.
Hey,
no.
I'm just done. I'm like, you know what? Negative talk, whatever. You can bitch all you want because things are imperfect, but like we would not be friends, and we would not be sitting here for beauty like that, and the world needs more beauty. So let's be beautiful.
You said like literally what I feel to my core about Southwestern. So like,
yeah,
well done, very well said. I didn't want to like.
It's all you need. Like, oh my God, like take everything in your life. Could you not find something wrong with it? Let's get started, guys. Tell me about your high school. Tell me about this. Tell me about that. Like, oh my God, let's tear everything apart. Look where that's got in the world.
I didn't even think we were saying that bad things.
No,
about
I'm just saying, like, I just like have felt in my core lately to be like, hey, let's all like go out and be the light that we have, because everyone.
Who was that guy? Who was that guy that was high up that got fired in Southwestern that I fucking loved? He was so fucking cool. You went out.
McCroskey?
Yeah. What was his name?
Lee McCroskey.
Yeah. I listened to Lee McCroskey's talk all the fucking time. And he's like, you need a motto in your life. Like, you need a motto. And I don't know if I stole this from him or if I took it, but it was like, you need to be the light in the lives of others. Like, you'll be the light in the lives of others. And I say that to myself all the time. And I get asked about what my life motto is. Actually a lot in law school, which is really fucking weird because lawyers fucking suck. But I say that every time. And everyone's like, that's really good. And I'm like, thanks. I don't know if it's mine. All the time because of Lee McCroskey.
It is. I get asked it a lot, and I'm like, I quote Mort Utley on the weekly, like people are like, oh, how could you do all that shit and whatever? Like, why would you do this? And why would you teach that? And why would you like, oh my God, like, I want to hear what you two have to say. I hope you guys have stories like this, because like, this is like the nuts and bolts of like, why selling books is fucking amazing.
Alena,
is that you go out and live your life like this for 50 more years.
Can you say your more? Brandon has such a good more. Do it.
Say it, Brandon.
No, we gotta
do your more impression now.
Amanda, stop. No.
Zoom in. Zoom in. Zoom in.
This is great. This is great.
No,
please.
Closer.
Come on, Brandon.
I did
you guys
totally
have nice skin, by the way, both of you. Nice skin, very nice skin.
I just went.
Lena has been talking for like an hour straight. Now you want me
oh
to
my God, I have
impression?
fucking not.
We have isogenic skin. That's why we have such good skin.
Slow down.
Isogenics. Okay, do your more impression.
No, stop. I wanted to hear her do hers. She said she's been quoting him every week.
Alena, we want to hear
I just did.
Let's hear it.
I said, if you're not, he talks about the postcard on his desk that he had laminated. If you're not being better today than you were yesterday, and you're not being better tomorrow than you were today, you're not being the kind of person that God put you on the fucking planet to be.
I don't know that he said fuck, but I'm gonna apply.
I don't think he probably did, but that is my version that I tell myself every fucking
You're
morning.
missing the tone and the cadence.
Let's hear it, Brandon.
I'm not a comedian.
Mr. Stand-up.
Although I could
comedy
be.
bit, just quoting it.
Slow down. Brandon.
I still remember this.
I like lived to that. Like, that is, of all the things I've heard in my life, that has stuck with me for a decade.
I still remember the stand-up comedian act I went to go see of Brandon that Amanda made me go to. And it was like
Forced you were forced.
It was the AKO joke where it's like, I can't even fucking remember what it was. But
Andres, you know the joke. Tell the joke.
I was crying. I don't even remember.
I can't rip off.
The AKO nose.
You can't rip it off. I feel like you're just bowing out. That was a total cop out.
Or something.
I can't plagiarize your joke. You got to tell us a joke, Brandon.
It was like
I gotta do my bit. One of my most controversial bits about the Alpha Chi Omega.
You should have just accepted my Mort Utley impersonation as what it was, and you wouldn't.
It wasn't an impression though. You were just like quoting him, and also
it was a direct quote.
Vulgarly quoting him.
It was a direct quote.
And
is this stressing anybody else out right now?
I'm not stressed out. I just think it's funny, like
this is a
how
great
something
episode.
I can whatever.
Go.
This is a great episode, but
I can't pay attention, but go ahead.
I would like to hear like maybe some last closing, some fun and funny stories or like last thoughts, kind of like what Amanda was sharing there at the end. 'Cause we are approaching the
I like how Amanda's sharing Brandon's face.
We are
Because I
approaching
thought
the
he was
3 hour
gonna.
mark.
He has a really, really good Mort impression, and I thought he was
Mort
gonna.
impression. Do the
Oh,
Mort.
I'll save that for the next time I'm on the
Honey,
ponytails.
just
No,
do
do
it.
it
Oh
now.
my God, Amanda, stop.
Do it now.
We have
No,
3
this is not
drunk
my
women.
episode. I shouldn't even be here right now.
Yeah, we have 3 drunk people on.
Well,
on
Take
here,
it off.
so-
Thank
You already
Thank you very much.
cracked. You already
Thank you very
cracked.
much.
Lame.
Woo!
Lame.
Fine.
That is lame.
He is lame.
Closing thoughts, life lessons
You know,
learned,
it's
or
not
pony
surprising though. I'll admit for him to walk in and then shit on what I have to say. Sounds about right. I'll show up 2 hours late and then tell you what I did wrong. You can tell him I said that.
Oh no, this went south really fast, really
It can go
fast.
south. It's fine. I think he can handle that.
No, Alena, it's because he just cares so much about you, and you guys kind of have like this like brother sister bicker because you guys like sold so
Yeah.
many years the same. I feel
You're like
like
a-
it's like this like
You guys are like the aunt and uncle that just bicker at each other at Thanksgiving.
Mm.
That's what you get. Yeah. Which you
Yeah.
did at Sizzler quite a bit. So you were kind of like that anyway. All right.
Well,
Last
there's
closing. We have to start
Reason for a
wrapping
lot
this
of
guy up.
things, but
We have to start wrapping this guy up because we're at like 2.5 hours.
Sorry, you
And
guys
so-
didn't get a chance to like ask us questions.
No, this has been a great episode. I really enjoy it. I really enjoy it. If you guys, do
someone
you guys have
somewhere
any,
is going to listen to this.
yeah. I don't think very many people, but
Hopefully,
if one
none of my
person-
job offers. This sucks.
well, we've
Don't
had,
don't tag Jordan in any of it.
Do
so she
not
gets
tag
her
me
she
either.
gets her bigwig law degree, and then you can tag her in it afterwards.
we've
when
had
she's
3
famous.
to 5 people listening constantly the whole time. So there's at least that.
That's better.
don't tag me because
And
I
by
have a lot
3 to
of Tom
5,
James
I mean
people on
3
my-
to 500. So that's essentially what's going to happen. But yeah, if you guys have any last thoughts or any last comments on either the episode or your time as roommates or Southwestern, this would be a good time. And then we'll probably wrap it up.
Amanda, you go first.
What? Oh man.
Yeah, what's up with tie dye?
It's a whole outfit.
Oh, is that a
Fashion.
thing?
What? Tie-dye is so in right now. Are you kidding me?
Oh,
It is back.
yeah, I am
So-
kidding you.
I was gonna like look cute for you guys, but I've had really bad neck aches the last 2 days, and I've been in a lot of pain and on a lot of like pain meds. So I have my sweats on. So I'm really sorry
No, you look good. I'm just giving you shit.
in advance.
Just
But
take it.
You're s-
You always
Oh,
look good.
my 2 favorite quotes in the world are today I'll do what others won't. So tomorrow I can do what others can't, which
Very
was
right.
on my car everywhere when I sold books. And my second, which I actually have in my office, is you did not come this far to only come this far.
Ooh.
That's a good one. That one always.
That's a good one.
Mm.
I like that.
So I would just say my life. I mean, obviously, I wouldn't have met Brandon. I wouldn't have that's like the biggest thing, right? I wouldn't have met my husband if I wouldn't have sold books. But like I will say, even though your guys's boyfriend's fiance at the time was kind of shitting on like Southwestern people, after my wedding, so many people were like, oh my gosh, your friends on the dance floor, like you have such awesome friends, and the atmosphere was so cool, and who were all those people? And like my parents, because it was like the Hertigs flew in, Phil Zolke flew in, Christine like Martin flew in, like I mean all these people flew in for a wedding. And it's like, how many other, like you can always count on your Southwestern friends, right? Like it's just, even if you haven't seen them in a long time, if you like, for instance, Will the other day was like, hey, Brandon, we're going to do a Spartan race in Hawaii. Do you want to come? So it's like, I think we're going to Hawaii in August for like a Spartan race, just randomly. But it's the point is like Southwestern, not only everything that we learned and how much it changed our lives that way, like the people that we surround ourselves or are able to surround ourselves with because of Southwestern is like, to me, just something that, as much as I joke that like we were like in a cult, like it's kind of, I mean, it's kind of true, but the people, but seriously, the people, like it's, I can't say enough about every summer at the lake. I see this guy that sold books, and it's like instantly when I meet people that sold books, we're best friends. It's that instant respect of, oh my gosh, you sold books, you did door-to-door sales. Like I think we take it maybe for granted a little bit. And like, yes, there was hard times and all the things, but like it changed my life. And I could never like thank Southwestern enough, like Alena enough, obviously, for being an amazing leader. And
You're sweet.
like,
Thank you.
But seriously, like it's just, anyways, I ramble all the time. So
you're good.
Just anyways, moving on. That's what I got.
Stuff. I like it.
I think that's great.
Amanda's yours was love others and leave the world better than you found it. Jordan, any last things before we wrap it up?
I would say along the same vein, like I think the people that I know from Southwestern has put a whole standard on like who I surround myself with. I think there's such a positive light that you don't see anywhere else. Like you literally don't. And it broke my heart to not be a part of it anymore. Like I literally did, because the people and the friendships that you make are just like insane. Like it's, it's a family. Like it's literally a family. And I think of the people that brought me into it, like Alena, like I will never stop having the utmost respect for you. Like I think about you sometimes. I'm just like, I hope she's doing okay. Like she did so much for my life, It's just, it's such an impactful, like I think about things in my life that have impacted me and changed me to my core. And those things are on like one hand that you could count. And Southwestern will always be one of those things till I'm 80 years old. It will always be one of those things, and I think everyone that sold books could say that. And it's just, it just changes you. It like changes everything about you. And I'm happy for those changes, and I'm super grateful. And I'm happy to have these people surrounding me right now. I love you all so much. I'm a little drunk.
Love you.
I'm so happy.
I know we need to all get together. Maybe I'll stay.
I think we should have a road trip and go see Jordo.
Come see me. I will give you guys
the cities are fucking cool. Down. I think we would have a great time.
I'll give you the best time of your life.
If you guys do that, maybe we can have you sit together and do like another episode for another 2.5 hours.
Also, I'm inviting all of you to my wedding if I ever get married.
Got it.
Like,
also invited to my never happening wedding. So
if it's super quick, we haven't talked in 10 years, you're still gonna get invited.
I'll be there.
Those are the kind of friends you want there.
We'll be there. All right, let's wrap it up. Nick, last who's coming up, and then we can close it out.
What about Alena? Does she have anything?
Yeah, Alena, we were opening the door to
last said everything I need to say.
Oh, okay.
Well, that's what Alena inspired the question, because she went on this whole thing about how you got to love other people. I'm like, oh, I want to hear what the other two have to say about it. She's the one that started the whole thing.
Well, thank you for that. This has been like, whoa,
awesome.
The doors just got blown off, and we're like, whoa. We saw a ton of awesome stories from the first summer that Amanda and Jordan had with Alena in Massachusetts. That was unforgettable for all of us, right? And we were all there, so crazy stuff, right? But hearing about what you've done afterwards, what your strong opinions are on things, it's always fun. We've got some really cool stuff ahead of us, y'all. We've got Huayo Humbarda. I'm still learning how to pronounce Spanish words the right way, but yeah. So this guy, up on Sunday the 11th, we've got a really interesting story of someone who, like Paige May, lied about his units his first summer. A little bit of spoiler, a little bit of teaser for his episode, but he came clean, and he went on to sell 2 other summers after that, 3 summers, and was we're interested to see what that, was like and see some insights. Because after that, we've got a legend, the Yvette Morehouse Keister.
No.
We're about to, get one of the biggest legends in the business.
The woman.
Oh yeah, on tax day on
Badass.
Thursday, April 15th at 7:30 Central Standard Time.
Whoa.
Oh yeah. And then yes. So after
I'll be
that,
listening to that one. That'll be interesting.
oh yeah. And then after that, Sunday the 18th, we've got Kitty Grassy. We've got a spot open on Thursday the 22nd.
Good stuff. Good
Oh
stuff.
yeah. Oh yeah. And then we're getting our top producing friend Dylan Buck on the 25th. 29th is open, but on May 1st, Saturday, it'll be our first Saturday episode. We've got Patrick Tullius in the house.
Oh.
Yeah. We got some big ones.
That'll be interesting.
Oh,
I
yeah.
would listen to that.
Other
Be
names,
entertaining to see.
absolutely. Other names in the works.
Big names in the works.
Oh yeah, John and Amber Thomas. Y'all, I don't know if you caught wind of this one, but the Dave Rosen, one of the OG record setters from back in the day, is going to be on in August. That's a little bit further down the road, but we got to plug it, and just a bunch of other names in the woodworks. We're getting Brian Talabi up in here, so it's been a blast.
Did you guys get Brian Wilson yet?
No, well, I'm working on it. I'm working on Brian Wilson and Lee McCroskey.
God, like if there was like
a man of all men, right?
standard
Brian
of life, I would say
Brian Wilson
as Matt Ashoff. That's another one. Get Matt Ashoff. That's just like salt of the earth. Oof.
all these people. Yeah.
What about Grant Greeter? Where's Mr. Greeter?
Grant's coming too.
You should get Matt and Bridget. They are just
They're coming.
salt.
They're coming. The one thing I will say is we are actually getting some the reason that this has been able to happen, and it's fun to have a variety of episodes. So we've had some like fun ones like this one, we've had some more chill ones, and we've had some like inspiring ones. We love the mix. And luckily, because of that, we've actually grown our viewership pretty strongly. And so therefore, I know we're in the works and we're talking with different people, but if anybody listening, any of our alumni that have been on are interested in sponsoring, it's actually becoming a much more beneficial and profitable thing for y'all, because it's working. We're growing, and it's a blessing, and it's been really fun to do this.
Promote your business.
And you want to promote your business?
I have my job in September. I'll sponsor.
In March, in the month of March, we had 4,000 views, which might not seem like a lot, but for the fact that we had not plugged it at all, it's just been complete organic viewership, and so it's been super fun to be able to do so. So that's
good for you guys. I think what you're doing is really cool. I think we should plug you guys for 2 seconds, because I don't know if you get that much, but like
it's awesome.
Two of my favorite people. I love you guys.
You guys
are doing it.
Have sweet souls and
doing
a good thing.
Super unintimidating, super kind, super
very authentic.
It's to be like you.
Oh, you guys, stop.
Girls.
Oh, but we won't stop. But really,
it's been awesome to have you 3 ladies on. We're trying to balance out the ratio, and I was looking forward to this episode for a while, and it did not disappoint. So thank you.
Oh, good.
So
on that note,
on.
I'm Andres Gamboa, your host, and Nick Taverdi is my co-host. We have been on with Amanda Q, Jordan Ortmeier, and Alena Arendt. God bless y'all. Peace.
Bye.